when you watch the games are the only time you don't talk about this stuff. The games that you're still excited to watch college football.
Yeah.
When you have the excitement that we've had the last 2 to 3 weeks, nobody's talking about how much somebody is making, and nobody's talking about what the SEC is doing to leverage things. It's just, you're just excited to watch college football.
All right. With that, we've got them. Let's go to the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. And once again, bring in the commissioner of the NACC. It's Jeff Ligney. Jeff, how you doing this afternoon, sir?
Great. Don, thanks for having me on. Great to be with you guys.
Oh, it's great to have you because, again, this story just keeps manifesting itself. And hopefully in a moment, I want to see what your view is as far as the impact is for various schools. But in a nutshell, after the House settlement, after all of the stuff that has taken place over the last year, now as we're knee-deep into college football, what has been the impact of that House settlement, and has it necessarily put guardrails around anything, or has it created a situation where the wild, wild west has even gotten bigger?
That's a great question, and I'm not sure anyone really has a great handle on where we are yet. As you know, the House settlement allows this year the Power Four, or all Division I institutions, I guess, to pay up to $20.5 million in NIL money to the student athletes. But that's across the whole athletic department. And talking to some of my friends in the Division I world, I think schools are really starting to try to figure out how to best spread that money around. Where does your investment give you return? I think that's a great question right now. How do you do it with impacts of Title IX? Obviously, if you look at it from an outsider's perspective, investing in football and men's basketball seems, worthwhile with all the TV money that's out there. But there's also the Title IX component. And I think schools are really struggling with how do you spread this around? How does this affect a football team when you have one person making $2, $3, $4, $5 million a year in NIL money, and then you have other kids on the team who may be also very good but making fraction of that money? What does that do to team dynamics? I don't want to say it's the Wild West, but I really think it's going to take us a few years to figure out how this is all going to work, how this affects, and where is the best way. How is our schools going to invest this money into students that gives them the return that they're looking for?
Yeah, but the return is so interesting to me because, 5 years ago, we're talking about amateur athletes, and now all of a sudden, who we're investing in, looking in that return, where now we are looking at effectively a professional athlete that might be 19 years old and trying to wrap our arms around exactly how effective he or she could be. I mean, that's an incredible challenge for anybody that's going to be in the situation of having to make those decisions, as well as the collectives that are going to try to have some input on where this money is going to go. From the perspective of Title IX for a minute, you look at some programs like Wisconsin has this advantage, this unexpected revenue generator called women's volleyball that have been successful for quite a while. And your point about trying to figure out where this money is distributed is, I think, dead on, because if you're Wisconsin, you just don't know. We know the challenges that the football team is having. We know the success that the men's basketball team is having and anticipated to have. We've seen what women's hockey and we've seen what women's volleyball has done, right? So what if you put on, your thinking cap a little bit, Jeff, and you're obviously, as the commission, let's just say arguably the NAC has the opportunity to do the same thing. What recommendations are you giving to your programs? I would say, okay, this is how I think you can do what you want to do, but this is how I would approach it.
Well, it all depends on each institution has very different philosophies and revenue models. And Wisconsin is one, just being locally and having some people involved. And I know there's been a lot of discussions, particularly as you brought up, women's volleyball and women's ice hockey. Right now, you might argue that those two sports might have a bigger following than their football team does at the moment. That's obviously not true, but as far as success, and the growth of those sports. We are seeing women's volleyball getting better and better TV contracts. We're seeing them being placed in primetime. We're seeing their championship become a lot bigger deal than it ever has been. And the same thing with ice hockey. Ice hockey tends to be, both men and women, a lot more pocketed, a lot more regional. The SEC isn't dealing with ice hockey at all. You know, the ACC really not dealing with ice hockey. That's more of a Big Ten, Northeast, Midwest kind of a thing. So it's going to be very different. It's hard for me. I talk to presidents, I talk to ADs. You know, for the most part, our schools are trying to stay out of it. But I think my best advice would be for any institution is you have to come up with a plan. You have to figure out how the investment of these dollars is going to be the best for your institution, give your student athletes the best experience. But I'll go back to what you were talking about a little earlier when you're talking about the different sports, Title IX, you know, things like that, where to invest. Like, these are things that you're seeing colleges now bring in general managers for their football teams and basketball teams. These are the folks, and some of these folks, while they do have experience in professional sports, some of these people running these GM jobs, and even at the Power 4 Division I commissioner level, you're seeing people being brought in from the entertainment industry, not the traditional. They played college sports, they were a coach, they did this, they did that, they were an AD or something. You're seeing people that more from the business and entertainment side come in and help make these decisions on how to invest this money. And so that's really, we haven't really seen that in college athletics. That college athletics has been a very closed, kind of a cloistered group of insiders, and it was the old boys club for a long, long time. We are seeing just now this branching out and seeing this more as a business and entertainment. And I'd love to give you better answers where I think it's going, but it's hard to say right now because we have a bunch of people making decisions and involved in college athletics with backgrounds we've never seen before.
We're talking with Jeff Ligney. He is the commissioner of the NACC, a Division III conference here in the state of Wisconsin, about all of the varying elements that are playing a part now of college sports. And Jeff, I know you want to stay out of it from maybe the financial side, but what about from the transfer portal side? What I'm starting to see more and more is the fact that Division II and Division III are really becoming farm systems for Division I. As a Division I player leaves, you see teams now going back into, let's say, Division II, grabbing a player, Division II going back into Division III. It's set up a stage, so to speak, that I think was unintended, but the reality is it's happening as we speak.
Yes, it more and more every day. And this has been going on for a little bit now, Don. Like, I have some coach friends from my Division II days that are especially in sports like basketball and football, that are incredibly frustrated because they've been taxed with not only recruiting good student athletes, but recruiting a large number of student athletes, particularly in sports like football, basketball, soccer. You know, when I was coaching college basketball in Division II, we tried to have a roster of around 16 every year. So, you break that down into 4 classes, that's about 4 kids a year you got to bring in. And with some turnover, maybe 5. Now coaches are going to have to recruit and bring in 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 kids a year, because not only are kids going up, being poached if they're good and going up a level, but kids are just transferring more in general, looking for better NIL deals, better, more playing time, whatever it is. Kids are transferring, student athletes are transferring at a rate we've never seen before. So, it was tough back then in Division II to recruit 4 or 5 quality student athletes a year. To double that, the amount of time you have to do, and if you're able, be lucky enough to get one of those kids who are just standouts, you think they're going to be great. If they're first team all conference as a freshman or a sophomore, the odds of you keeping them, particularly if they win some award like Conference Player of the Year or All-American, the odds of you keeping them are extremely low. You know, and so coaches are just so frustrated of, I did all this work, I found a great kid, now I lost them, and I got to do this all over again. It's hard to find those kids at our level. So I'm worried about some of the impact it's going to have on coaches who, a lot of them I know, are throwing up their hands like, what do you want me to do? There's nothing I can do. I can't compete with the money, the NIL, the fame, the TV time, and all the stuff that you can get, even at the lower levels of Division I. Our coaches just can't compete with that. So it's incredibly frustrating. So I think there's going to have to be, particularly at the Division III level, we're going to have to come up with some kind of guardrails to help protect our coaches.
Yeah, no doubt, because I would imagine just the burnout. We've seen it at a lot of stories of D1 coaches that have stepped away because they don't want to deal with the result of the portal and NIL. When you look at, Don and I have talked about this a lot on our shows, and one of the things that we brought up is that D3, D2 have content available for production, for a Fox, for an ESPN, for those things that are out there that could help drive revenue into the lower levels of the NCAA. Because I don't know that I need to watch more bags on ESPN, or if I eat those types.
You're right.
Are there ever any conversations or outreach? And I'm not speaking specifically to the NAC, but just in general at D2 and D3 levels, where we're reaching out and say, hey, we've got the content, we've got entertainment here.
Right.
Have you heard of any of those conversations? Has anybody tried to have those?
I think we've tried within the NCAA in regards to championships of reaching out to ESPN and Turner, who have had those big contracts for a long time. And a lot of time, even the Division I women's sports, but particularly Division II and Division III, have been afterthoughts. Now, our championships are all included in those contracts. But a lot of times, particularly Turner has just said, we're not going to do anything. We own them, but we're not going to do anything with them. We're not going to broadcast them, you know. And even ESPN, with all of its platforms, has done a little more, but still not emphasizing, not putting us on in particularly good times when we do that. So I don't know if there's going to be TV revenue that's going to be meaningful in Division II and Division III outside of championships. If you're just talking our regular season, I'm not sure we're there yet.
Right.
And, you know, the model is changing too. I believe, and I've been told this, I don't know what you two have heard, but I believe in less than 5 years, ESPN is going to be off cable and they are going to be a streaming service only. They are going to do their own. They are going to be the Netflix of sports. And they are going to take everything off the cable channels and be just streaming. I believe at our level, that's probably the Flow Sports model. If you've been following that at all, it's probably our ticket forward in the near future to get some streaming contracts to try to get a Division III football, Division III men's and women's basketball games of the week, you know, that are prioritized or marketed, things like that. I see that as probably the nearer short-term future for us as far as tapping into those and trying to get some sponsorship and distribution dollars out there more than television is at this point. But I agree with you. At some point, ESPN, with all its ESPN3 and other channels, yeah, I mean, they're going to have to throw something out there on the networks, and we have that for them. But to this point, you know, my conversations with folks is they just haven't had an interest in Division II and Division III yet.
Jeff, I got time for one more. If you could step in right now and offer just one potential solution to the plethora of things that are on the table with regards to NIL, the transfer portal, et cetera, what would you recommend to be the first thing to at least get the ball rolling so that we can put some guardrails around this thing?
I've thought about this a lot, Don, and I don't know, and I'd have to do a little more research on the legal ramifications, but I'm now, when this first discussion all happened, I was 100% against student athletes being classified as employees. But now the more I've been involved in it and I see what's happening to the NCAA and the courts, I don't know how we're going to avoid, at least at the Division I level, student athletes not being classified as employees, particularly at the Power Four. And if that happens and they can collectively bargain with the student athletes, then we're going to start seeing some major rules. We're going to see some guardrails. But right now, Don, the NCAA can't put guardrails up because every time they try, a student athlete takes them to court, and the student athletes are winning these lawsuits left and right. And the courts keep telling the NCAA, you can't put rules up unless you collectively bargain. That's how the NFL, that's how all the professional leagues get away with, salary caps and things like that, because they collectively bargain with those folks. And what they keep telling us is you can't make up rules and just implement these on students who have no say in the matter. But I don't know of anyone that you can collectively bargain with. I've never heard of, I don't know if there's any case of anyone collectively bargaining with a group that wasn't considered employees. So I think we have to find a way. There's all kinds of other financial and legal ramifications for classifying student athletes as employees, but I'm almost convinced, at least at the Division I level, they're going to have to find a way to make them employees, to get better guardrails, to enforce NIL rules, to enforce things like eligibility. If you've been following, the Pavia case, he's in his 7th year of playing college athletics. And there's nothing the NCAA
is that long?
can do about it. We're throwing our hands up in the air. So until we can collectively bargain, I think that's just going to keep happening.
Yeah,
I absolutely hear you, Jeff. We got to get to a break. Thank you so much. Always learn a lot when we get to talk with you. Have yourself a great weekend, boss.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Anytime.
All right. Jeff Ligney, commissioner of the NACC. Let's get to a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to hear from Pat Murphy, manager of your Milwaukee Brewers, in the midst of his press conference that I think just wrapped up, but we'll have some audio from it when we come back after a break. It's Beers on the Table here on The Game.
Right now, it's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, credit. That's credit. Enter it now. Win cash at thegameandstuff.com. Thegameandstuff.com.
The people have spoken, and the results are undeniable. Ridgetop Exteriors has added to our dozens of awards by sweeping a recent People's Choice Awards, taking home Best Roofing, Best Siding, Best Windows, and Best Overall Home Improvement Company. That's not just winning, that's setting the standard. Bo here with Ridgetop Exteriors. At Ridgetop Exteriors, we deliver with expert craftsmanship, top quality materials, and customer service that keeps area homeowners coming back project after project.
Oh, the guys from Ridgetop Exteriors are here.
The message is loud and clear. You want the best, you call Ridgetop. 4 categories, 4 wins, 1 name. Ridgetop Exteriors, the undisputed champion and your only choice for home exteriors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com to experience the difference today. That's ridgetopexteriors.com, your People's Choice Award winners.
Ridgetop Exteriors is the place for you.
When people think sleep apnea, they think CPAP. Now at Advent, we do all we can to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a CPAP altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all under one roof. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within the throat, nose, or both. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world you would never think of to find the sleep apnea and snoring relief you won't find elsewhere.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Most insurance accepted.
Thielman Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is celebrating 96 incredible years of trusted service. Right now, get a $96 furnace tune-up, a deal as solid as our reputation. From top-tier equipment to expert installation, Thielman delivers comfort you can count on, backed by nearly a century of experience. But hurry, this limited-time offer won't last long. Visit ThielmanHeating.com to schedule your $96 tune-up today. That's ThielmanHeating.com. Comfort you can trust for 96 years and counting.
it's Brian Butch for Window Nation. October is here, and if you've got old windows, that means you're back to dealing with chilly air seeping into your home. Eliminate annoying drafts once and for all with Window Nation in Milwaukee. This month, buy 2 windows, get 2 for free, plus pay nothing for 2 years. With the holidays coming up, that's a big deal. Don't miss out on free windows and 0 payments for 2 years with Window Nation, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Visit windownation.com before October 31st to get started.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Sarah Spain for iHeart Women's Sports.
Presented by King's Hawaiian Sliders.
The WNBA Finals tip off tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN with the 2nd seed Las Vegas Aces hosting the 4 seed Phoenix Mercury. Mercury are the first team in WNBA history to reach the finals twice in 5 years with a completely new roster the second time around, while the Aces have 5 players who have been with the team since at least 2022. For more women's sports stories, subscribe to Good Game with Sarah Spain on iHeart Podcasts.
Eli Manning here. There's nothing like football and King's Hawaiian Sliders. There's something about those soft, fluffy, irresistible King's Hawaiian Sliders that make them a winner on game day. Pick some up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. King's Hawaiian. There's nothing like it.
You don't have to be going for the largest personal injury verdict in state history to call us, or the largest product liability verdict in state history. But just in case it gets that big, we're the ones most qualified to handle it. Since 1930, our firm has handled and won the largest personal injury cases in Wisconsin history. And we want to handle your car accident case, too. Habish, Habish & Rotier. National reputation, hometown service. Visit habish.com for more information.
Beers on the Table Hour with Drew and KB, with Don and Dan in for Drew and KB, continues. Let's head out to American Family Field. Pat Murphy at the podium before NLDS Game 1 tomorrow.
Murph, what type of energy might be different between you and Counts going into this? We know it's all professional. It's about your team winning. But what will you, emotionally, what do you have to protect against, knowing how close you guys are from getting caught up in his game versus yours?
Yeah, I don't really think it's about us at all. I mean, I've got a huge staff around me and a great bunch of ball players that I've been through 6 months with, or 8 months with, if you count spring. And I think he probably feels the same way, that it isn't about us, We'll compete, and hopefully our teams will compete. I don't think it'll change, us. It's nothing about what he's doing or whatever. I mean, we've kind of revealed ourselves over the years, what we're capable of. I don't think it's about us at all.
But as great competitors, you're both enormous competitors. Don't you really want to beat his butt?
It wouldn't matter who was over there. That kind of goes without saying, right? This happens all the time in sports, right? But player to player is different than manager to manager. But yeah, I mean, if they want to make it a Holyfield Tyson thing, I'd probably have a better shot, But oh, you assumed I was Tyson. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know if there's any update on the Brandon Woodruff front at this point.
Woodruff will not. Well, here's the thing. Brandon Woodruff, the good news is this. It has nothing to do with his shoulder. And that's the greatest part of it. It has nothing to do with his shoulder health. His shoulder's 100% healthy. It's on its way. He's proven that when he's pitched. Now he has an injury, he has a lat injury, and that lat injury, much like a hamstring, has to be treated as such. So he's not going to pitch in this series, but we're hopeful that somewhere, like a hamstring, you just never know. You know, like a hamstring, you're hoping that who knows what might be down the road. We're very disappointed to announce that. I think everyone anticipated that, but we wanted to be sure. We wanted to get all the opinions. So we're going to move forward from there. But we're just super happy that he's looking into everything he possibly can to try to get healthy as soon as he can. But he has a long career ahead of him. But just the news that the shoulder is 100% intact is the most important part.
Murph, you had talked going into this week about finding that competitiveness, keeping that competitiveness. Are you happy with the balance between rest and intensity over the last couple of days, and how did you get that?
I don't think it's a matter of being happy or not happy with it. I think we made it uncomfortable, and we made it competitive, but you can't replicate what's going to happen there tomorrow. And then now it's water under the bridge. It doesn't matter now, it's done. So hopefully we did that, and hopefully the players will be as ready as you can be after a 5-day layoff in baseball. You know, we do this at the All-Star break, not as long, but we do. And, you know, we just don't make excuses. Who's the new guy? Just came in. What we got?
My name is Kyle Williams.
Hi, Kyle. I knew a Kyle Williams in my life.
Murph, how does familiarity play a role in a postseason series with how well these two clubs know each other?
Yeah, I think it's across the league right now, right? I mean, Detroit and Cleveland, Boston, New York, and now we've got New York and Toronto, right? So, I mean, it's there, you know what I mean? And you're going to have to play the best teams to get to where you want to go. And being familiar with the other team, you know, be careful. You know, be careful what you think you know. You know, it's who's playing well and who's on it, who's adjusting to what they think they're going to do. You can get yourself down a rabbit hole. You know, it's about going out and executing, making pitches, being ready for every pitch. Yeah. I think it'll, play a role. Of course.
Murph, a big part of your offensive approach and your success this year has been grinding out at bats, battling pitches, putting pressure on defenses, forcing teams to make tough plays. This is a Cubs team that has been arguably the best defensive team in the NL. That's how they've graded out. Kind of curious, do you think that raises an extra challenge specifically with this team, maybe compared to some other teams you might play? And then how do you approach this series knowing that this is a group of guys on the other side that can make plays?
Yeah, the familiarity comes into play, right? They know how we try to do it, and they're going to try to combat that. And we know how they try to do it, and we're going to try to combat that. I'd rather play a team that wasn't as familiar with us, but really all the teams we're talking about playing have some idea, that we do that. So, and I think everybody's going to play hard, and everybody's going to try to grind out at bats. Everybody's going to point to, well, you don't have as much slug. The Cubs have 3 guys over 30 homers and this, that, and the other thing. But it comes down to the game being played tomorrow. We play good defense too. They play really good defense. And, it comes down to playing those pitches, being in the moment. It's like a heavyweight matchup. You know what I mean? Everybody has styles, and you combat that style the way you do, but you got to figure out a way to win the game, and you do it minute by minute, second by second in the ring. And I think that's what it'll come down to.
Murph, back to Woodruff. What is the level of optimism that he could actually be able to come back down the road? And would it be as soon as the NLCS, or would it have to be like later than that?
Yeah. I think the goal would be, I think that would be a little bit early because he's not throwing, you know what I mean? But the fact that he's got his eyes on it and we're researching what can be done might be a possibility after that. I think that's the best way I can answer it.
Murph, you guys played the Cubs last in August. Since then, how often have you talked to Counts? Can you share like the frequency of the conversations, and is it different in season versus out of season with you guys? How often you talk?
I talked to Michelle, his wife. Don't misinterpret that, please, guys. But I talked to his wife probably as much as I talked to him. But we'll chat here and there. I don't know the frequency. Once a month, maybe something like that. I don't know. Yeah, we don't usually talk about our clubs very much. Like, hey, I see that Shaw's really hitting for some power. How'd you unlock that? We don't do that, but you can't take away the relationship, guys. You can do whatever you want. We could even fight out there. It doesn't matter. We're gonna still be friends. We've been through too much together. And I love his family, and he's great to my kids. And it's like it's what it is.
Murph, I just kind of, since you've taken over, the Brewers, have continued at the pace they were under Counsell. I just was curious on like how you imparted your own personality and style on the group.
I don't really know, to be honest with you. I'm sorry to not do that. I think we've had 2 years where nobody expected us to be over 500 both years. And I don't think anybody came out of that. My first year, what year was that? 2024, being the manager, nobody expected us to win the division. And nobody for sure this year expected us to win the division. So, I mean, I think we've made a statement of how we play. And I think we've done a pretty good job of establishing that we're going to overachieve. And, again, we didn't get an increase in budget, or we didn't pick up players at the deadline. We didn't do a lot of those things because we trust in the way we do things. And I think it should be, noted that these teams have overachieved.
Skip, a couple questions.
From yourself, or do you got them on?
No, these are not from viewers. These are straight from me. I actually thought of these myself. Players this week have talked about how much they
enjoyed that, by the way.
We enjoyed it too. Thank you for your time on that. Players have talked about how much playing at home means. What do you want from the fans tomorrow who are coming here? What do you ask of them? What do you want from them? And the second part, should you do a third inning interview with Japanese television, what fare would you take out of your pocket to appease the Japanese audience? Could you do sushi? Could you do some ramen? What do you got in mind? Should you do a third inning interview?
Wow, that was a lot of questions you just asked me. 2. What was the first one? Because that sidetracked me a little bit.
Playing at home.
They don't know what you're talking about.
What do you want of the fans?
What do I want of the fans? Yeah. Stay engaged, enjoy it. Love your team the way you should this year. Like these guys have stepped up in a huge way. Like I said, nobody expected it. You didn't know the players' names, and for them to emerge. Some of the guys that the front office picked out of AAA that had unbelievable seasons, frontline seasons for us. You're thinking like, admire this team the way I do, love this team the way I do, show up to see them to thrive and keep going. Yeah. I mean, the fans have been great for us. I mean, we've had 25 sellouts. I don't know if that's normal or not. I don't really keep track, but somebody told me that. And it's pretty cool. So I say, come out and encourage the guys, And the second one, third inning, Japanese media, let's do, well, I don't know what they would want mid-game. Maybe why they're used. You can't cook spaghetti and meatballs for an Italian family. You know what I'm saying? I can't pull out something Japanese cuisine for them. Maybe we just go peanut butter and jelly or something for these guys. You know what I mean? Just a thought.
Come back down to Adam in the second row.
Jesse, were you doing in-game?
Yeah.
Do you always do that?
Just in the first round of the playoffs. Because it's
That's
on
pretty
ESPN.
cool. That was pretty cool.
It was fun.
Is he in a suit?
Suit, no tie, though. Makes my head look like a bowling ball. So.
I didn't even notice. I didn't notice it.
Murph, is Quinn
Could have had a
Priester,
Randy Moss 84 jersey on. I would have known.
True.
is Quinn Priester starting game 2, or is there the possibility of some creativity there? And is
Quintana lined up and ready based on this past week for game 3?
Both of them will be ready for game 2, but we haven't decided what we're doing game 2.
Can I just follow up?
Yes, you certainly can.
Can you share what Quintana did this week? How much he was able to throw?
He's 100%. He had 3 ups day before yesterday.
I had a source indicate that you had a little ink added recently. Would you be in a position to share and show?
Really? I don't know, that's kind of personal, isn't it? Isn't it personal? Well, here's what I can show you. So I'm going to do this. See, you think you're smart. I know who you got it from. Okay, so you think you're smart. No, you think you're smart. You think you got me on the spot right now, but you don't. I got 3:19:10. It's my daughter's time in the Boston, her best time in Boston Marathon. She's run it 4 or 5 times. This is her best time. Did you get that? Did I send that to you? You saw it?
No, I didn't.
I sent it to you. I got the wrong number then. You're under Pacquiao. 3:19:10. That's her best time. So I just got that day before yesterday.
Any others?
Huh?
Any others? Any other new?
Any other tattoos on my body?
Yeah. New tattoos, like recent?
Yeah.
Could you share? Like, you don't have to show us, but could you?
Yeah, I got a tattoo on my sleeve like the players wear on their uniform. The Bob Uecker.
All the same, like the patch.
The patch.
How about that? Bob Uecker with the patch.
Nice.
On his arm. All right, Drew and KB, the official program begins in a few minutes with Don and Dan next here on The Game.
Love waits for the snap, and here it is. Rushan has time, throws left side of the end zone. Catch made. Romeo Dobbs at the pylon. Touchdown, Green Bay. And he throws the football into the stands. To Richardson, winds up deep down the right side into a gaggle of bodies. It's broken up and intercepted by the Packers.
The home of your Green Bay Packers and the flagship of the Packers Radio Network.
And there is your dagger.
97.3 The Game.
Hey, NFL fans, I know you'd do anything for a win and an ice cold Bud Light. The clean, crisp taste of Bud Light turns a win into a win-win. A win isn't a win without the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And this season, visit Mecca Downtown, Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin, Mason's Eatery and Pub in Kenosha, and Champs Lake, Geneva. And enjoy an ice-cold Bud Light during the game. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Does your business need new garage doors? At Geis, we partner with CHI Overhead Doors to install top quality materials engineered by industry leaders to ensure that each of our commercial door installs are long-lasting and hassle-free. Call us to get a quote and schedule your new CHI Overhead Doors commercial installation. 262-784-4250 or online at geisstores.com.
Don't think twice.
For CHI Overhead Doors for your business.
Brother man, you ever get the Sunday scaries?
Sunday scaries?
Yeah, you stay up half the night on Sunday because you're worried about the upcoming week.
I used to, but not anymore. Not now that I found Happy Place Hemp Delta 8 gummies. I take one about an hour before bedtime and I sleep like a baby. But I'm not the only one. One smart, good-looking listener texted us and said they started taking the gummies for their anxiety. Now they're more relaxed. They get a good night's sleep. No more tossing and turning.
And now listeners can go to happyplacehemp.com, use the promo code DrewKB, and get 25% off their order. Can't beat that with a stick.
Happyplacehemp.com, promo code DrewKB.
Big savings are happening right now at Russ Darrow. Hi, it's Zabe here for the Russ Darrow Automotive Group. They're making room for brand new 2026 models, which means huge sales on every 2025 in stock. Whether you're shopping for a stylish Kia, a rugged Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram, or sporty Mazda, dependable Nissan, trusted Honda, versatile Mitsubishi, or the legend Toyota, we've got incredible deals waiting for you. With thousands of vehicles available, now is the perfect time to trade in, trade up, and drive home in the new car, truck, van, or SUV you've been dreaming about. But hurry, when the 2025s are gone, they're gone for good. Shop the entire inventory and lock in your savings today at russdarrow.com. Big savings are happening right now at Russ Darrow. Discover the Darrow difference today.
Brought Broadcasting from the all-new Iron Jock Studios, built by Reamer Remodel.
We're ready to roll, baby.
This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee, 97.3 The Game.
Central Office Systems managed IT services come with 24/7, 365 North American tech support. Available in less than 1 minute by phone, converting IT risk and liability into assets. CentralOfficeSystems.com. That's CentralOfficeSystems.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/joy.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Make 97.3 The Game your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Listen up, the ratings just came in for last month. We are number one. We just grabbed every key demographic. Yeah.
Live from the Iron Jock Studios and brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College Athletics, it's time to rock the rivers and shake the lakes with two guys fueled only by cheeseburgers, bourbon, and ice-cold beer at a reasonable price, of course. It's Drew and KB.
We're both whites from the Midwest who have nailed a bunch of threes.
Dorks. They look like a couple of dorks.
The reality is that anybody that knows Drew knows that he's been class personified.
I be trying my hardest to like people, and then they start to like breathe and talk and stuff.
KB brings just great instincts. That's what you love about him.
I'm mad. I have to go to work. I have to earn a living. I'd rather have a private income and get laid.
Do not end up in a hospital, newspaper, or jail. If you do end up in jail, establish permanently quickly.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Name something Abraham Lincoln probably used to ride on.
Miss Lincoln, like I'm on the bed bush.
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
I don't know what time it is, but I'm rolling deep.
How's the corn?
You know I'm going to have to go for 420, Bob. Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its.
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle.
Light the candle.
All right, welcome in. It's the Drew and KB show on a Friday. Drew and KB with an extended weekend. Don Wachillis, along with the Professor Dan Underberg. Hunter Baumgart is the anchor right now. He's the grown-up in the room.
Yeah,
trying
but he's
to
doing his best pipe bomb right now. Keeping
this all together as we make our way again through the Drew and KB
the same way
show.
pipe bomb does it.
Yeah, I think Pipe Bomb and I have different styles.
Yes, very much so, as we are live in the Iron Jock Studios.
Don't forget, you can use the talkback feature on the iHeartRadio app to have a little communication with us. We're also live on YouTube, on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter, Facebook. You can find that all when you search 97.3 The Game. Want to do it the old-fashioned way? Hit us up on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line 1-877-794-1973. You can follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, and on Twitter. But the most important one right now, as we were talking, is Instagram. We're trying to get this thing to 3,800. I may have been a little bit lofty in the first hour with beers on the table of looking at 4,000, but let's get this thing to 3,800 by the time we exit stage left. Why do I feel suddenly like I'm Jerry Lewis on a telethon trying to, can we get a tippity roll, please, and try to get this thing to 3,800?
How many
Anyhow,
people even understand that reference anymore?
no, there are a lot of people who don't understand that reference and what it meant to have television
On
that
Labor
went
Day?
24 hours.
Yep.
You didn't get static at 12:01 after the national anthem to have actual 24-hour television. That was wonderful. It was a special day in so many ways to be a child in this country of ours. So as we make our way through on this Friday, we can't get to happy hour fast enough, can we? It's going to be that kind of a show, but we're going to be heavy on the Brewers, obviously, as they get ready to play the Cubs. Did you have a preference, Hunter? I mean, there were so many people that were like, I don't want to play the Cubs. I don't want to play the Padres. And I'm thinking, you know what? We've got home field advantage. Roll in whoever. Now, granted, each team has its own nuance. Each team has its strengths and its weaknesses that play either heavily towards the Brewers or maybe against. But you know what? It's the playoffs. Let's go. Because at some point, if you want to get to the ultimate goal, which is a World Series and a World Series win, you're going to have to play some of these tougher teams. So let's see how we stack up, and let's get the ball out there, and that the first pitch tomorrow at 1:08.
Totally. That's exactly it. And I think Christian Yelich mentioned that in his presser that we'll hear in a little while. And to me, I thought it was, I kind of wanted the Cubs, I wanted the Cubs, because I was like, it would be so fitting for this special year to continue with a special series against the Cubs, and the victory, couldn't get any sweeter when it comes to the NLDS. The only time the stakes could be higher between these two teams is if it was the NLCS. So this is obviously the highest stakes that this team, and these two teams have gotten together for, because the only other technically postseason, it wasn't even the postseason, it was game 163, is the only other time outside of the regular season that these two teams have matched up. So I am, excited. There's two sides to this, where it could be just absolute elation if the Brewers win, and it's going to be crushing if they lose. But I think fans are hopefully trying to prepare themselves the best they can for both. But I think it's I don't know, that if you're going to have a team that's going to play your rival in the playoffs, having the 97 win Brewers would be a good team to choose.
And it goes to what Murph was saying as we were playing his presser, on Beers on the Table, in the fact that he wants the fan base to just lock in and enjoy it. I think too many times we go to the other side, and rightfully so, right? We've been kind of scorned as fans a little bit from various things that have occurred where things didn't go our way and we end up losing. And we seem to, instead of going into tomorrow with euphoria, with just, let's go, let's have some fun. We're in the playoffs. We had the best team in the National League in all of baseball. Let's enjoy what's in front of us and stop letting that 10, then 20, then 30% of our brain go to how do we prep for a loss and how do we handle it and how do we deal with what's going to happen next. You know what I mean? Like, let's just go in and go.
Yeah, let's go in. And I think that's what's going to happen. But at the same time, that's the beauty of playoff baseball, is that your brain goes there after certain pitches, certain elements in the game. No out, 2 on for the Cubs, for the bad guys. And then your brain just goes, what does this mean? And that's kind of that energy, that back and forth that really makes playoff baseball special, where they say, where every pitch matters, every inning counts, everything that's we take for granted, maybe in a 162 game season, is now essential for 3, maybe 3+ hours. And that's the best part of it. And what I like about having the Cubs here is if there is a reason to like having the Cubs here, it adds to that element of nobody's talking about right now the NLCS. That's not part of the conversation for the fans.
Point.
We are 100% dialed in on this series for the NLDS, and specifically because it's the Cubs. Not even the fans are getting ahead of themselves a little bit. That's the best part.
I couldn't agree with you more. And, we were talking off the air a little bit, Hunter, with Murph. I mean, he's so special. I mean, Dan and I were sitting here talking about how do you get your team to a point where they're locked in to continue to do all of the fundamentals that for the vast majority of this season, this Brewer team has done well. And I think the argument can be made that with the players that they have, the fact that they played sound fundamental baseball is one of the reasons why they got to where they are. Now, we had games, we may have had a series or two throughout the season where things went a little bit haywire, but for the vast majority of it, it was about fundamental baseball. How do you make sure, from Murph's perspective, that I put my team out there, that they're locked in, they don't make the mistakes that Cleveland or Boston made in their wild card series, that you just do what you've done and make sure the old sphincter muscle doesn't tighten up and end up doing things that you haven't done all season long just because you're starting to feel the pressure of playoff baseball.
And you see that happen. There's no doubt where you see that happen, where guys are trying to make it that extra base when, you want to be aggressive, but also you want to be smart or whatever it happens to be. Tigers took a run off the board in one of their games in the series against the Guardians because the guy was thrown out at third before the guy crossed home plate. Like, every little thing is so incredibly important in the playoffs because every run is so big. You look at the final scores of those games last few days, almost all of them were 4 runs or less. And it comes down to those little tiny details. And that's what the Brewers have been so good at all season long. Now, the Cubs have as well. It's two of the most fundamentally sound teams in baseball, and that's why it's going to be such a good series. But, like you said, can the Brewers do exactly kind of replicate what they did at their best points in the regular season and do it here? Because if they can, they're going to be going a long way.
I had to smile, laugh in a very sarcastic mode with our friends to the south as far as those who cover the Cubs from the media standpoint, and listening after their win, how they just fawned over this Cubs team, how they've been solid from game 1 to game 162, and the recency bias that exists with how things have been covered. You go back to the middle of the year. I mean, there were people on talk radio in that city wondering out loud if Craig Counsell was the right hire. Did we make the right hire? This team is struggling. This team has got too much talent. They go through the whole scenario, and then you listened yesterday, they're like, oh yeah, I mean, what a great leader. What a guy, it's George Washington going across the Delaware on the front of the boat, only it's Counsell in a Cubs uniform. It was just funny to me to listen to the recency bias, but then I also had to smile when I think back of where we were as a fan base the first week of the season when you went 0-4, you dropped 3 in New York, you come home, you lose the home opener, and we didn't lose in New York.
No.
We got pummeled in New York.
Same with the home opener.
Right? And it was all about, oh my gosh, what's this season going to be? How are we going to get through a 162 game schedule? And yet when I listen to Hunter and Pipe Bomb and the franchise, they're always like, guys, it's 162 games. Tim will say, every game is important.
Yeah.
But he also is understanding of the fact that it's a 162 game season and you got to play the doggone thing out.
Yeah, but I was guilty of that as anybody was in that first 25% of the season.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't what I lost sight of, and it was hard for me to see it all, is because in spite of the way they played, and again, it was pitching that kept them in and pitching that allowed them to get to that 500 record in the first part of the season. I couldn't see the 500 record. I couldn't see through it because of base running mistakes and silly errors and bad hitting. And it looked like there was no end. And then there was that point, ironically, against the Cubs where they pulled out game 3, where you saw Pat Murphy fired up, on the field. He saw something that as a manager, I didn't understand. I didn't get how important that game was. But from that point, the Milwaukee Brewers changed.
And I don't want to put words, Hunter, in the franchise's mouth, but if I remember correctly, which is that's dangerous. He talked about around that time where Dan's describing in that mid-May area, like if we can get to 500, then you get a couple of games. Then you get to like 8 games over 500 because it's baseball. You're going to lose a few, but you lose a few and you're still 4-5 as far as games being above 500. And then you just kind of keep chipping away. And he was absolutely right. What was different was once we got to 5 games above 500, we went on a tear and we never really looked back because as we talked when you joined us on Wisconsin Sports Sunday a couple of weeks ago, when we think about since that point when the Brewers will say have struggled, it's been 500 baseball. And there are a lot of teams that wish their struggle was 500 baseball.
Right. Yeah.
And we were the beneficiaries of what those streaks were.
Exactly. No doubt. And I think not a lot of times can you look back in a season and say this day was super significant. This day was super significant. Like, because it's 162 games, it's like, oh yeah, that series was big or that week was big.
Yeah.
There are specific games you go back to that lead you to where the Brewers are now. And there's 2 big ones. The one you just mentioned at Wrigley Field, and Pat Murphy was fired up on the field June 19th, 8-7 win over the Cubs. Tim Allen calls that the biggest win of the year. He's called that the biggest win of the year throughout the season. And then you also go back to May 25th against the Pirates.
Yeah.
And that was the one where they're 3 games under 500 entering the day. And there's a fly ball to Isaac Collins late in the game. It's like the 7th inning, and it hits his glove and he misses it. And in my head, I go, boy, this might just be a year of struggle. This is going to be like a 500, this is just going to be an up and down, some growing pains here. Maybe last year was a little bit of an aberration and we'll see. I mean, those thoughts I'm like, okay, I've seen it 2 months now, misses a fly ball.
Right.
Like, all right.
I don't feel so bad now.
Right. So, no, you're right. So then that's what I'm thinking. 2 innings later, they come back and win that baseball game in Pittsburgh. They ended up winning it 6-5. Then when you ask Pat Murphy, we asked him when I was in St. Louis a couple weeks ago, that Sunday, we asked him, okay, when did you see this team kind of turn? He points back to that specific game. And he said, one of his, he didn't mention who, but someone on his staff or someone maybe in his life told him, instead of focusing maybe on the negatives that have happened, focus on the positives and the opportunities that this team has and what this team can do. And he said, I started to think more positively about it. That was the start. That game was the start of that 8-game winning streak that put him over 500.
Right.
And they literally never looked back.
And there were other things, obviously, that take place throughout the course of the season.
Sure.
First, for me, it's William Contreras. We talked early on, that finger has been a hot mess since probably game 1. I think coming out of spring training, he was having issues. He was struggling at the plate. You couldn't give up on him because he's so good behind the plate, so good calling games and working with the pitching staff. But you were taking a hit offensively. And then I think it's a little bit later than that Pirates series where all of a sudden Contreras catches fire a bit and then finishes the year up hitting right around 260. He's got 17 home runs. He's doing exactly what you would want out of your catching position. And there's other points of that too, Dan, where we saw, Christian Yelich, who we'll hear later in the show from his presser, where he goes down with an injury, which happens. I mean, Christian's getting up in years, and especially, anybody who's had a bad back knows you don't heal from a bad back. It just kind of rears its ugly head every once in a while. And in years past, Dan, man, this team would fold when Christian folded. Like all of a sudden, nobody hit the baseball. This year, Christian had his back issues. Everybody else just picked up the slack and went. Churio goes down. Everybody picks up the slack and just kept that train moving, which has been a significant difference than if we took the Brewers this year and compared them to the past.
Yeah, and I agree with you that this team has had the ability to pick each other up, and I think that's probably a common theme for any team in any year that's doing really, really well. They have that ability to get past those hurdles. You're talking about, what it's meant to have these guys play. I go back to the idea of we didn't know what we were getting when we had Quinn Priester. We had no idea what that was going to result in. I know there's some frustration with that pickup and that selection. And look at what he's done. Look at the arrival of Trevor McGill. Look at what it's meant to have Alan Ashby back and what he's done to get us. I mean, through this 500 count, he's a big reason why the Brewers have not maybe seen a lower output these last couple of weeks than we'd like to see. It's just been this pitching staff has just found ways, and yeah, every now and again there's a hiccup in that, but that's to be expected. But by and large, again, they've found ways, bringing guys up at the right time, making the right decisions with the roster. And, I've got faith that they've made the right decisions again leading into the playoffs. I mean, they've done it all year.
Well, let's piggyback, Hunter, off of what Dan was just talking about and what we were saying previously about how this season started. Number one, my focus was, okay, Freddie, you're number one.
Yeah.
Get us to maybe July when everybody is supposed to come back off the injured reserve, and then, take your place at number 2 or number 3 where you've been. And then we had a bunch of guys, for a lot of people were like, who's that? Like back in the day when the guy was screaming, you can't watch a game without a program. You were buying a program because there were guys in that pitching rotation where you're like, I don't know if I'm 100% sure who
Elvin
this
Rodriguez
is.
started the home opener.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you question then, okay, we got Freddie, and Freddie looked good in that opening game against the Yankees, even though they lost. And then again, the next few with New York and the home opener were mitigated disasters. And you thought, oh, this pitching staff, oh my gosh, how are we going to go anywhere? And yet, little by little, with the moves that Dan was talking about, guys getting healthy, guys finding their rhythm, and suddenly, towards the end of the year, we're touting this pitching staff as one of the best in baseball.
Well, and that's part of it. Murphy points out, like, they had 11 of their top 15 pitchers down to start the year. I mean, they were just so beat up. You talk about Ashby, right? You talk about Tobias Myers. You talk about, Jose Quintana. You talk about, Nestor Cortez got hurt after his first start.
Right.
It's just like it was constant. Savali got hurt early too. And and obviously those two are not on the team anymore, but you talk about all those guys, the DL Hall, the list goes on and on. It's crazy how many guys that were not available to start the season for this pitching staff. And that ultimately, I think, obviously had an impact, because when you put together a team, you of course plan for injuries and you have to have depth and all that. But if a majority of your pitching staff gets hurt, that's hard to plan for. And what they did is they saw that and they went, okay, we're going to get Quinn Priester. It might be a little while before he's, molded into what we think he can be, but let's get him. They got him early April. And then between May 14th and the end of September, the Brewers didn't lose a game that guy was pitching in. So they clearly, month and a half later, they molded him to what they wanted to get him into. And he's never looked better in his career.
And then it goes, Dan, to your point about the moves that were made, okay?
That's just what I wrote down.
So all of a sudden, you bring in an Andrew Vaughn. Now I'm sliding away from the pitching staff, but the acquisition of Vaughn, especially with Rhys Hoskins going down, and first base has been one of those areas where prior to this season, because even though Rhys Hoskins, I think, solidified it, you knew injuries kind of have been a part of his career, so to speak. You had question marks about what was going to happen. You make the trade, you bring in Vaughn, you send him, and then all of a sudden it's lights out. We've got a budding young star who's living up to where he was drafted when the White Sox drafted him.
Yeah, it was honestly way beyond. I don't think you expect anybody to perform even at an super all-star.
Yeah.
And Vaughn just overwhelmed that, and what a run he had. And he really, there were games he pulled the Brewers. He was the guy that kind of took them through the game. He always had the big hit. I think for this team, guys, I think about the surprises, and Andrew Vaughn was one of them, the unexpected production that you weren't expecting. And one of those that for me is always going to be Brandon Woodruff.
Yeah.
I was grateful to see him come back. It felt like it took him forever to get back. There was always a delay or something going on, but I'm sorry. I don't think anybody could have expected him to perform the way he performed immediately.
No,
just coming back into Miami and just carrying that through as long as he could before he re-injured the arm, not the shoulder, right? As we've heard about.
Thankfully.
So hopefully, maybe there is a way that he can be healed for the next series. And the other one I look at is Jake Bowers. Comes back off the AR in the past few IR, sorry.
Yeah.
Comes back off that and was just tattooing the ball, having a great few weeks. And so you just never knew who was going to pop up next, kind of looking at the Cheerio injury and all those things and finding these unexpected diamonds in the rough that have just shown you again and again that they're here to play ball.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say they won the 14-game winning streak was without Cheerio.
Right.
That was the franchise record winning streak without Jackson Churio. Like, you just think of all the guys that stepped up, even just in that. The Isaac Collins walk-off homer against the Mets, the Andre Monasterio 10th inning homer against the Reds.
Monasterio,
or 11th inning, whatever inning it was in extra innings. I know that in Cincinnati, like all of those things, like that is just, and that's why the season's been so special.
One person we really haven't discussed when we were talking pitching and offense and fielding and everything else is Abner Uribe, who, what surprises me always, Hunter, with this Milwaukee Brewer team is their ability to know when it's time to let go of what I will say their relief staff when it gets to a point, whether it's contractually or even in the midst of their contract. We've done our evaluations. We've got our analytics. We're going to make this trade. And Devin Williams, had he been, a player for us, he could have thrown it into center field the other night and help Boston win a game so I could watch lacrosse in Whitewater tomorrow, but I'm not salty whatsoever.
Neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. But then you get an Abner Uribe who steps in amongst some of the others on the back half of that rotation. And we talk about how this thing started. We didn't know who was going to pitch, how this thing would play out. Would Freddie Peralta, really be the number one, so forth and so on. But the back end, the Abner Uribes of the world, have really been something special to watch once you get to 7, 8, 9 as far as innings go at the completion of a game.
I think Abner Uribe is probably the closer in the playoffs. As much as Trevor McGill has been all-star closer, literally an all-star closer this year, he's only pitched in one regular season game since August 24th. I just don't know if they've seen enough to put him in that high leverage spot. Now, when you advance, I could see it maybe, he gets some, a few innings, whether it kind of middle of the game, could be even be late in the game, could be 7th inning, something like that. But if this game is like a 4-2 game tomorrow, Brewers have the lead heading into the 9th. Uribe's in that groove right now. And I'll tell you, he has the moxie of the closer.
Yeah.
He's got that swagger, and he's got the stuff, and he's been really effective. Honestly, one of the better relievers in the National League this year. I think he's probably your closer, at least to start this playoff.
All right. So I don't want to do this because you told us we're not doing this, which is looking ahead, right? We're focused in on the Cubs.
Right.
Could you see, Hunter, a situation?
So we're going to do this.
We're going to do this.
We're going against what you said, Dan, okay?
Could you see a situation should the Brewers get past the Cubs where you could find a Uribe and a McGill almost alternating because we're looking at it from a situation standpoint.
Yeah.
Like Murph says, hey, I got trust in both of these guys, but I know Uribe in this certain situation matches up better than the 8th. We'll bring McGill in the 9th or vice versa.
And that's a good place to be because you have, even if McGill comes back and he's not the closer, then okay, that adds another leverage arm, or even in the playoffs, a leverage arm could be in the 5th inning. I mean, the Cubs brought in Palencia, their closer, and I believe it was the 5th inning yesterday, 4th or 5th inning. And, they were able to stop whatever was going on there. And eventually they win the game. So I think I also, playoffs are different, but I also fear that sometimes managers overthink that where they're not doing what necessarily got you there. And they, bring in like Hader was brought in early in games, when Counsell was the manager and Hader was here. And I just, I don't want to get too, far away from what got the Brewers here. But on the other hand, it's live and die here in the playoffs.
Yes.
So I get having your best guy out there when you need it, maybe in the middle of a game.
And isn't it crazy, Dan? Hunter just talked about that with, sometimes you're pulling guys maybe in the 3rd inning, the 4th inning. You're already getting into situational baseball much earlier than you would in the regular season. And I think back when Counsell did that, you go back a few years where we were in a bind as far as pitching went, and you had, a closer give you one or two, then you went to mid relief, then you went back to the closing staff, and people scratch their heads. And this is not a way to win. You cannot win baseball this way. All the people who didn't want the pitch clock and the bases expanded and all of the things that baseball has done to make the game better. But Counsell was really on the forefront of some of that situational stuff in order for pitchers to kind of be out of order, but worrying about what's happening at the moment.
I like where this. We're giving some love to Craig Counsell, but I don't like where this is going. He's still on the other team. So
sure. Yep. All right, we're going too far here.
Okay, going too far. Thank you, Craig.
Professor's giving us the voice of reason.
Back it up.
Let's, again, I'm just going to go back to you guys before we wrap this up. Is just Murphy's approach, which is in the playoffs, you're an out getter. And so whether you're Uribe, whoever you are, on the pitching staff, your job is to get out. Mm-hmm. And hopefully that is something that the staff adopts all the way through October.
Yeah. All right. We've got some stuff from the pressers that happened earlier this afternoon with Yelich and a number of other players that we're going to get to. And we'll start doing that once we come back from the break. Don and Dan filling in for Drew and KB. Hunter's still on the other side, holding everything down. We'll be back after a timeout. It's Drew and KB on the game.
Don't care if Monday's black, Tuesday, Wednesday, hard to tell. Thursday, never looking back. It's Friday, I'm in love.
Sunday night, October 26th, the legend and his backup meet for the first time. And Zabe, Butch, and the Russ Darrow Automotive Group want you to watch the game with them in the Steel City. With thousands of vehicles available, now is the perfect time to trade in, trade up, and drive home in the car, truck, van, or SUV you've been dreaming about. Shop the entire inventory and lock in savings today at russdarrow.com. Get to thegameandstuff.com contests and sign up to win this epic road trip with the fellas.
Let's go.
Thegameandstuff.com/contests.
You're not just tired, you're drained. Dragging yourself out of bed, powering through work with caffeine, skipping workouts, zoning out at home. That 6 to 10 o'clock evening window, it used to be your time. Now you're barely holding on. Lower energy, poor sleep, no drive. If that sounds like you, it might be low testosterone, and you're not alone. It's Drew Olson from 97 Through the Game, and I was in that exact spot with less gas in the tank. I got tested at Game Day Men's Health, and it changed everything. I've been amazed at the level of service I've received at Game Day and how quick the treatments are. It's part of my routine now. You can make it part of yours. They are looking to help you at Game Day Men's Health. It's fast, it's simple, and it's built for guys on the go. Like no waiting rooms, no awkward questions, just a free T-level test and real solutions that work. You've got a life to live. Don't waste it on the couch. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com and book your free testosterone test today. Game Day Men's Health. Get into one of the 5 area locations, get results, and get back in the game.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. We've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Coming around the right side, going for the pylon, in for the touchdown.
Feel the energy as My 24 brings you primetime preps game day action from the gridiron. It's a greater Metro City melee as the Brookfield Central Lancers lock up with the Brookfield East Spartans. Coverage begins with Mike McGivern and special guest on the Primetime Preps pregame show tonight at 6:30. Then it's game time with Gruber Law Office's Primetime Preps football, presented by Marquette University at 7. All on My Place for Sports, My 24.
Jason, what are you singing?
Working on a new jingle to promote Capital's $49 drain clearing. When your sink fills up with gunk, don't stress, don't whine. It's only $49.
Don't take this the wrong way, man, but I'd stick to plumbing, heating, and cooling if I were you.
That's fair, but people need to know that we clear clogs for only $49.
Fine, but I would have rhymed gunk with junk. It's so obvious.
Call CapitalCares.com.
What's up? It's Russell Nicolay with Nicolay Law. You're listening to 97.3 The Game, the #1 sports talk station in Milwaukee. For award-winning injury lawyers when you're injured, you call Nicolay Law or visit us at nicolaylaw.com. Get the beard, get the win.
KB, Iron Jock is going back to the basics.
Basics? I'm intrigued. What's in it?
It's a base layer setup. 1 tee, your choice, long or short sleeve, plus a pair of boxers and performance crew socks, all designed for active guys who want to stay comfortable and stink-free. The perfect base.
I'm all about a perfect base.
The Base Layer Bundle is fantastic for outdoor yard work, hiking to see the fall colors, or just general laziness and watching sports from your couch all weekend. And for our smart, good-looking hunters, talk about an advantage of not having your smell tip off your target. They'll never smell you coming.
So what are we looking at?
Short sleeve bundles $45, long sleeves $50. That's about $15 or $16 per item for quality and performance that lasts. And Iron Jock guarantees it for the lifetime of the gear or your money back.
Lifetime guarantee? Now that's a commitment. More than I can say for my golf swing.
No code necessary, and shipping is free.
It's an Iron Jock flash sale now through Sunday.
Go to ironjoc.com. That's ironjoc.com.
Through Sunday, October 5th.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Make 97.3 The Game your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Just fine before
It took a minute. I was trying to figure out what the song was that you were bringing us back to, and I was a little bit lost. Generational gap between Hunter and us.
Halsey and the yeah, who did you know it?
No,
Okay.
I've heard the song, but I couldn't
Don't
tell
even
you
bother.
who it is. Yeah, let's just move forward on the Drew and KB show. Don and Dan sitting in for Drew and KB. Hunter Baumgart on the other side of the glass. Our thanks to American Place Casino. Nonstop action just over the Wisconsin border in Lake County, Illinois. Experience the most exciting table games like blackjack, craps, roulette, baccarat, three-card poker, and more. Play on the latest and hottest slot machines. Get ready for a frightfully fun October with the 1 million Monster Cash giveaway at American Place. Every Friday and Saturday night in October from 6 to 11 p.m., one lucky winner is picked every 15 minutes for a shot at winning up to $1 million in cold, hard cash. That's right. Your chance to win big is creeping up every 15 minutes. Head to AmericanPlace.com for all the spooky details. Don't miss your shot at Monster Size Fortune.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537.
All right, let's head back to American Family. Well, that's the music. Let's head back to American Family Field, where Christian Yelich and Andrew Vaughn met with the media ahead of Game 1 of the NLDS tomorrow.
Andrew, I was wondering what you knew about Christian Yelich before you came here, and what you've experienced in terms of what he's done for this team on the field, and then what he means to it off.
Yeah, I think, being from the outside, I was with the White Sox for several years. Playing against him, he's a tough out. He's just a ball player. All around, just look at the years he's had here, even before in Miami. Just special.
For you, Yelly, a lot has been made, probably will continue to be made about the last few years in the playoffs for you guys. And the question is, do you feel like there's anything different about this team, or does there have to be anything different about this team to have a different fate?
There's a lot of different players. There's a lot of different players over the years, so they're all different teams, right? So I don't really think any past outcome has any indication of how this year can go. It's the postseason, and anything can happen in those short series and those kind of games, and we've definitely had our opportunities. We haven't always capitalized on them. And, we did one year
when we were able to kind of make a little bit of a deeper run. And postseason games are often decided by a couple plays here and there, and they're all going to be competitive games, tight knit, and hopefully we can, do what we need to do to come out on top.
Christian, Andrew, the players were talking about, your teammates were talking about an intense week of practicing with the tent. How did you guys do that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just did baseball stuff and understand that being able to execute the game and the fundamentals of the game and just doing what we need to do to make sure that we play as clean as possible. That's really what it was. And it wasn't anything crazy. It was just refresher and making sure that we knew what we needed to do, clean some stuff up. It was nice to have a few days to kind of get everybody's bodies rested up a little bit and, just kind of hang out and do some baseball activity.
For both of you, and obviously, Andrew, you've been now a rival of the Cubs for two different teams. What is it any more exciting to play this series against your arch rivals, or is it just another series, for you, Christian, starting with you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, it's the postseason, so it's not like anybody's going to want to win any more or, less because we're playing a division opponent. I think obviously the familiarity is there, but the stakes are the same, right? Like it didn't matter if we were playing the Cubs or the Padres, like you still want to win to advance to the next round. It's two passionate fan bases that are pretty familiar with each other over the years. And we've had some big games against each other and, surprising that we haven't really met in the postseason before. But I kind of had a feeling this would shape up this way at some point this season. And look, they're a great team. We're a good team. We play each other really close throughout the season, and I'd anticipate a lot of the same here in the postseason. And it'll be a fun week for sure. It'll be a great atmosphere and two fun environments when we're here and we're at Wrigley.
And Andrew, what about baseball? Yeah, I was going to say pretty much the same thing. The atmosphere is going to be crazy. I mean, you got to think about it, it's only an hour difference of a drive for both fan bases. So, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be rowdy. It's going to be really good baseball.
Christian, you mentioned all the aspects of the rivalry. The one difference the last couple of years has been Craig managing the Cubs after having managed the Brewers. What's it been like facing him in the past, and how different will it be now with the postseason aspect of it?
It'll be fine. A lot of our team, probably half of our guys, maybe more than half, didn't play for counts. There's only a few guys left, and it's still baseball. Like managers put players in positions that they think they're going to be successful in, and that's it. It's not like it's different than other sports. It's not like counts has exotic blitz packages or has a good play action pass game or anything like that. That's going to make it difficult on us. I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's great at what he does, but we're not gonna have to worry about the too high safety look from counts. So.
Christian, at what point in your time here did you recognize that young players looked up to you and there was a responsibility that came with that?
I don't know. We have a lot of young players. We have a lot of young guys on our team, and if you want to be successful, you're going to need to count on them and make sure that they're successful as well. I don't think it was any conscious decision to do that. It was just trying to be a good teammate and wanting our team to be successful and them to be successful in their careers. And it's a byproduct of playing here in Milwaukee that you're going to have to rely on a lot of young players. And they're a huge reason why we're in the position we're in because of their contributions this year and seeing them all, grow a lot throughout the season and the last couple of years.
Mike says to make it a good question, so maybe I should just pass the mic now. This mic. This is for Yelly. How annoying and how impactful is it to have so many Cub fans up here during the season and now potentially during the playoffs? Does that have an impact or not?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we're focused on the game. Who the people are rooting for in the stands is not really our concern. We're kind of worried about what's going on the field and making sure that we're doing what we need to do that our team's successful. Obviously, the proximity of the two fan bases, there will be mixed crowds, I'm sure. And in my opinion, it's just going to add to the atmosphere. But I don't think it's annoying at all, or it doesn't really affect our team. You know, we're worried about performing well on the field and making sure that we're doing our jobs.
Christian, any major differences in Murph year one to year two managing the team that you can notice or that you've noticed?
Not really. I mean, he's been the same guy since he was the bench coach. So he's, he's Murph. And people that are around him all the time know what that means. He has his way of going about things and doing things and managing the game and players. And, I think the last 2 years he's done a great job. And, he's been the same. And as a player, you know what you're going to get from him and what he expects and how it's going to be. You're never really left wondering what he's thinking because he's going to tell you whether you like it or not.
Along those lines, Christian, the difference between Murph and Craig, what was there an adjustment period? Obviously, you knew both of them. You knew Murph going into it, but were there noticeable differences? Are there noticeable differences in just their day-to-day style?
I mean, they're different personalities, I think. I think when Counts was here, they were a good complement of each other. Counts is pretty cerebral about the game and more reserved, calm demeanor. And Murph's going to tell you exactly what he's thinking and feeling at the time. And he's not always going to say the thing that's politically correct or that's overly concerned about how people feel about it. And that's just who they are, right? They're both successful in their own ways. And, people are different, managers are different. And obviously we're both playing each other. So they both do a great job at, what they do. And
Andrew, what are some of the advantages and possible disadvantages to having a bye week?
I mean, I guess you could say people think, oh, you're not playing for, 3, 4, 5 days, whatever it might be. Like we talked about earlier, we had some, pretty intense practices, live scrimmages, facing live arms, just to stay ready. I mean, you got to take advantage of the opportunity you're given. Getting the bye is really special, but, those 3, 4 days are really critical, button up some plays, tighten up the defense, just work on those things. And, I think we took advantage of that.
Oh, Andrew, I think I asked you this before when I saw you last game. You were a Clemente Award nominee with the White Sox. And I'm curious how you've translated that over to Milwaukee, how you found the community to look for causes that are close to you.
We haven't really dove in yet. Just the trade was crazy. Me and my wife definitely look forward to doing stuff, within the city. It's a great city. It's been awesome to us, but definitely looking forward to it.
Christian, over the years, how have you kept your emotions in check, but not become too emotional in bigger moments and just become the leader that you are?
I just think that's the game of baseball. You got to be steady, especially in the postseason, because there's a lot of different swings of emotion and momentum. And, you don't want to ride the highs too high during the game. And, if you get behind early in these games, you don't want to get too low either. It's just, you got to just keep playing the game. And that's true over the course of the season, but, especially in the postseason, there's just big momentum swings and the game changes quick. And, you could be 0 for the entire series in October, but if you get the one big hit at the end, then that's all people remember and all people care about. And that's why, as players, you have to just keep going. You got to keep going in October and play to the bell. And like I said, you can be the guy that's punched out every at bat for the entire series, but if you come up in that one big spot and deliver, then you can kind of change everything. So you got to keep that in mind during these series. And, look, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a great week. And, this is what you play for, these exciting games, and really looking forward to it.
This idea of momentum is something I want to address when we come back after a break. Let's get to the aforementioned break. Is Don, Dan, and Hunter on the other side of glass filling in on a Friday for Drew and KB. We're back in a moment.
Today's music ain't got the same soul. I like that old timer rock and roll.
it's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, GRAND. That's GRAND. Enter it now. Win cash at thegameandstuff.com. Thegameandstuff.com.
The people have spoken, and the results are undeniable. Ridgetop Exteriors delivers. We swept the People's Choice Awards: Best Roofing, Best Siding, Best Windows, and Best Overall Home Improvement Company. That's not just winning, that's setting the standard with expert craftsmanship, top materials, and service that keeps homeowners coming back. 4 categories, 4 wins, 1 name. Ridgetop Exteriors, your only choice for home exteriors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com and experience the difference today.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
Saving money on storage solutions now at Menards. Keep your garage and workspace organized with Rubbermaid. Fast Track is durable and easy to install and adjust with everything you need to maximize your space. Fast Track garage storage systems make it easy to use wall space to hang tools and equipment. Keep your space organized with Rubbermaid Fast Track. And view the weekly flyer for all of our great deals happening this week on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Step into American Place Casino, where the excitement never ends. Located in Waukegan, Illinois, just a short drive from Milwaukee. Over 900 slot machines, your favorite table games, 4 restaurants, live entertainment, and now our brand new poker room. Plus, we're proud to be the friendliest casino around with service that sets us apart. Whether you're here to hit the jackpot, catch a game, or just have an unforgettable night out, American Place Casino has it all. American Place Casino. Closer than you think, friendlier than you expect. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling, and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
Hey, NFL fans, I know you'd do anything for a win and a nice cold Bud Light. Because whether you're tailgating in the parking lot or parked on the couch, the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light turns a win into a win-win. A win isn't a win without the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This season, visit Potawatomi Hotel and Casino, Route 41 Bar and Grill in Oak Creek, Brewski's in Milwaukee, and DJ's Goalpost in the Falls, and enjoy an ice-cold Bud Light during the game. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Catholic Memorial High School honors Student Athlete of the Month, Gabe Talla, with a 3.99 GPA. Gabe is not only captain of the football team, but a 3-sport athlete competing in football, basketball, and track. Gabe is a CMH Student Ambassador, inspiring young players. As a proud graduate of St. Anthony-on-the-Lake, Gabe's known for being well-spoken, driven, and grounded in faith. Congratulations, Gabe Talla. Your future is bright, and your CMH community is proud. Learn more on how your student can achieve more. Go to CatholicMemorial.net.
Drew Wilson here for the doctors and teams at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Your arms do more than you think until they can't. Whether it's shoulder pain, tennis elbow, or carpal tunnel, OAW has the specialized upper extremity care to help you get back to doing what you love. Regain your reach, regain your life without pain that limits your motion. Don't wait. Schedule today at orthowisconsin.com. That's orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Skies will remain mostly clear tonight with partly sunny sky conditions as we head into Friday. Temperatures are going to warm up to the mid to upper 80s throughout the weekend. Cooler temperatures will arrive next week with a chance for rain, and that's all going to start on Monday. I'm Fox 6 meteorologist Holly Baker.
This report is sponsored by LubeTech, your local mobile lubricants distributor in Wisconsin. You need a partner you can count on. LubeTech delivers top-tier fluids for heavy-duty automotive and manufacturing applications. Backed by mobile technology, they help you drive performance every day. Get 20% off your first order at lubetech.com or call them today to get started.
Sunburn Bowl 7 is coming this February, and our special guest this year,
play-by-play legend and voice of the Packers, Wayne Larrabee. Go to 973thegame.com and book your championship vacation today.
She said it's cold outside and she hands me my raincoat. She's always worried about.
All right, welcome in Drew and KB on a Friday afternoon. Don and Dan sitting in for Drew and KB, who've got an extended weekend. Hunter Baumgart still remains on the ones and twos, thankfully, holding this ship down and having us headed in the right direction, because we'd derail this thing in a heartbeat. But
we've tried.
Well, we put forth our best
Still
effort,
attempting.
and Hunter always brings us back into the fold. Our thanks to Drew and KB for having us and allowing us to sit in on this Friday. Again, a big weekend. We've got some Badger football that we'll get to a little bit later in the show, with that kick coming off tomorrow at 11. And Dan, I think both of us agree that tomorrow is, Hunter talked about that Pirates game, right? That line in the sand, so to speak. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be the game that we look back on, whether positively or negatively, as the line in the sand, however things, manifest themselves for the remainder of the year.
It's a hell of a place to have to draw that line, is to do it in the big house.
Absolutely.
Tough one to kind of accomplish.
Yeah, it's just coming off that bye week. Let's see how this team rebounds, how they look. Again, we know the schedule is ultra tough this year, but I think a lot of us going into the season just looking for this team to be competitive in a much better fashion than they were against Maryland. All right, we're up against the top of the hour when we come back. Brandon Woodruff addresses the media. We'll get to that. We'll continue to talk about Brewer baseball. Again, Badgers, Packers, a number of other things to throw in the mix as the Drew and KB show continues. Don and Dan sitting in, Hunter on the other side. We're back after the break.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
This sports update is brought to you by American Place Casino. Nonstop excitement just over the Wisconsin border in Lake County, Illinois. I'm Dave Gasper. The League Division Series are now set across baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers will get things started on Saturday afternoon with a 1:08 first pitch against the division rival Chicago Cubs. Freddie Peralta will get the start for the Brewers in Game 1. And after the last pitch, make the switch to the baseball postgame show with Tim Allen right here on The Game. The Brewers got good news on injured starter Brandon Woodruff as well. Although he will miss the NLDS with a lat injury, his surgically repaired shoulder is unaffected, and he could potentially return later this postseason. And the Wisconsin Badgers will return off their bye week and face off against Michigan on Saturday. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. I'm Dave Gasper on Milwaukee's most listened to sports station, 97.3 The Game.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Eastbound on 94 at 68th, got a stall block in the center lane, causing a pretty hefty delay. 4194 northbound, you got a crash on the exit to Ryan Road, also partially blocking. I'm Kevin Henry, and that's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples. Cue the easy button because it's almost easy deal days at Staples. Starting October 5th, enjoy 7 days of savings on over 1,000 products online and in your local Staples store. From tech, chairs, luggage, and more. Get a sneak peek of all the deals at staples.com. Staples, that was easy.
What's up? It's Russell Nicolay with Nicolay Law. You're listening to 97.3 The Game, the #1 sports talk station in Milwaukee. For award-winning injury lawyers when you're injured, you call Nicolay Law. Or visit us at nicolaylaw.com. Get the beard, get the win.
Coming around the right side, going for the pylon. In for the touchdown.
Feel the energy as My 24 brings you primetime preps game day action from the gridiron. It's a greater Metro City melee as the Brookfield Central Answers lock up with the Brookfield East Spartans. Coverage begins with Mike McGivern and special guest on the Primetime Preps pregame show tonight at 6:30. Then it's game time with Gruber Law Office's Primetime Preps football, presented by Marquette University at 7. All on My Place for Sports, My 24.
Broadcasting from the all-new Iron Jock Studios, built by Reamer Remodel.
Let's get this going right now.
This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee, 97.3 The Game.
I want them gummy squares. I want them gummy squares. I want some sleepy with no more anxiety. I need them gummy squares. I need them gummy squares. I need my wife to find her happy place really soon. We have Delta 8 CBD and new Delta 9s. Go to happyplacehemp.com.
Happyplacehemp.com. 25% off with promo code DrewKB. Happyplacehemp.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Lowe's knows you've got a job to do, and we help get it done. With the MyLowe's Pro Rewards program, eligible members save more with volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Make 97.3 The Game your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest every night at 6.
Well, listen to this so I can bet better. How's that?
On Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Listen up, the ratings just came in for last month. We are number one. We just grabbed every key demographic. Yeah.
Live from the Iron Jock Studios and brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College Athletics, it's time to rock the rivers and shake the lakes with two guys fueled only by cheeseburgers, bourbon, and ice-cold beer at a reasonable price, of course. It's Drew and KB.
We're both whites from the Midwest who have nailed a bunch of threes.
Dorks. They look like a couple of dorks.
The reality is that anybody that knows Drew knows that he's been class personified.
I've been trying my hardest to like people, and then they start to like breathe and talk and stuff.
KB brings just great instincts. That's what you love about him.
I'm mad. I have to go to work. I have to earn a living. I'd rather have a private income and get laid.
Do not end up in a hospital, newspaper, or jail. If you do end up in jail, establish permanently quickly.
Taste the biscuit. Taste the goodness of the biscuit.
Name something Abraham Lincoln probably used to ride on.
Miss Lincoln, I don't mind a bit of bush.
Do you want to start drinking?
Yes.
I don't know what time it is, but I'm rolling deep.
How's the corn?
You know, I'm going to have to go for 420, Bob.
Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its.
Light this candle.
He's right. Let's light this candle.
Light the candle.
Welcome back in on a Friday. It's Drew and KB, Don and Dan filling in for Drew and KB. We've got an extended weekend during the Packer bye. Hunter Baumgart still on the other side of the glass. We haven't run him away yet, as we still have a couple of hours left in our fine program. Remember, we are live inside the Iron Jock studios. Iron Jock through October 5th. You have until Sunday to grab an Iron Jock 3-piece base layer bundle, which consists of a t-shirt, long or short sleeve, plus boxers and performance socks. Great for yard work, hiking, and for hunters. We know hunting season's coming up. Your smell won't give up your location. Talk about an unfair advantage. The short sleeve bundle is $45. Long sleeve, $50. Now through Sunday, October 5th is the deadline. You go to ironjock.com. That's ironjock.com. Don't forget, you can find this fine program right now, not only on the game, but on the YouTube channel, on Facebook. We're trying to get this thing up to 3,800 on Instagram. You can follow the show on Instagram at 97.3 The Game, 97.3 The Game on TikTok. Are we getting there?
We are. We're halfway there. We're at 750 here.
Okay.
So we've got a chance here to get there before 6 o'clock.
Let's go.
We only need 50 followers. So
free beverages for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
6 o'clock.
Ourselves.
If we get it to 3,800.
That's how important we are.
97.3 The Game on Instagram.
There you go.
You're going to want it for Brewers coverage. We're going to put a lot of videos up there of
absolutely
NLDS coverage here and beyond.
That's where all the hip and trendy people are at. They're on
very
that,
trendy.
They're on that Instagram. Them people. They're over on that Instagram. And you can follow us on X as well, the artist formerly known as Twitter, on @thegamemke. A ton going on this weekend. Obviously, we're talking Brewers. We'll get into Woody's press conference here in just a moment. But we got Admirals preseason hockey tonight, Dan.
And that's a great opportunity to warm up the vocal cords for tomorrow.
Well done.
Get ready, kind of the libations that come, get warmed up for that. But it's hockey. It's time for it sneaks. Hockey season sneaks up on you, right? So yeah, go out. It's a perfect night tonight to just go to be downtown, to enjoy the energy of everything that's going to happen this weekend. Go grab a bite to eat somewhere at a local establishment. Take your kids along with you, because this is the perfect time to go enjoy Milwaukee UWM Panther Arena. Say hi to Armin as he's hosting the game, and just take in the Admirals, because very, very shortly the games count. And this is, it's the Rockford Ice Hogs. Come on,
let's go.
Let's
go. Let's go.
Yeah.
And the beautiful part about preseason hockey, A, like you were mentioning, is the price, but B, it's like summer outside.
Right.
Too many times your people, I'm not going to Admirals game. It's too cold. I got to bundle up. You got no excuse today. You can go to one of those fine establishments you were talking about. You can sit outside, have your dinner, a couple of cocktails, then roll on inside the Panther Arena. Yes, to cool off. Isn't that crazy that we're sitting in October and we really want to go inside and cool off? This, though, can keep going, because the golf courses are still looking fantastic, and you still have the opportunity to get out there. Even though sunset now is a little bit quicker, you got to figure out how to work those twilight hours into your schedule. But yeah, I mean, with the kind of weather that we're experiencing and what we'll experience tomorrow. I mean, the beautiful part always about American Family Field now is the roof, amongst other things. But the fact that once the weather does get cooler, once, various systems roll through, if it's going to rain or whatever the case, we just close the roof and we play baseball. Tomorrow, that roof is going to be open.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that.
Be.
Is it?
It better be. Yeah.
It's usually they have it closed for television purposes.
They do,
but hopefully they have it open. It's got to be open.
It's
sunny and 88. You cannot close that roof.
They better not. Major League Baseball has control over it in the postseason. Brewers have control over it in the regular season.
Okay.
And so on those 110 games, a lot of times they'll close the roof a little bit.
Yeah.
A quarter of the way to kind of help with the shadows and everything. I doubt they do that. I'm guessing it's either open or closed. Like you said, it better be open. It's going to be 85 and sunny at first pitch, probably, or thereabouts.
Yeah.
Let's open that roof, everybody.
Mid to high 80s tomorrow.
Yeah.
There is no reason for that thing to be closed, because if the Brewers advance, like we hope they will, by the end of October, we're going to need that thing closed. Fine, close it then. But for tomorrow, wide open. Let's enjoy some outdoor baseball. The one thing, Dan, I do like, I hate to say it this way because I was on such a soapbox with missing out on that, Whitewater lacrosse football game tomorrow.
Sure.
But Saturday afternoon baseball. I mean, growing up, that was always a thing. You went Saturday afternoons with pops. You went to the ballpark. We would always sit in right field. Dad was a general admission right field side. And even before they put the extension on Old County Stadium, when you could sit in the sun, kind of a thing. But there was something about Saturday afternoon baseball. You went on Sundays when there were the giveaways.
Mm-hmm.
The other days you went Saturday. Saturday afternoon baseball to me was so good. But I mean, I understand in today's world, we move it to the evening for primetime exposure and television and everything else.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily better. You're right. You lose a little bit of that charm when you can't do those things and sitting out in that field and cheering on Sixto Lozcano at the time. And oh man, I do miss that. And I have no regrets that we have American Family Field. Don't get me wrong, but you still miss the brat smell coming out of County Stadium. There's that little element of just hominess that stadium had, in addition to having a wonderful celebration after a home run.
Can I say this? Yes. As far as stadium food goes, I love County Stadium when it was around. I love American Family Field. I'll say this, from all of the adventures with being a part of this fine radio station that I've had the privilege, of bouncing to various venues, UW Whitewater, Perkins Stadium, best stadium food there is.
Really?
I'm telling you that right now. Best brats you will find anywhere. I don't know what they do, if it's just the fact that the grill is going and they, it's almost made to order. But Perkins Stadium at UW Whitewater, I would put up there with the best of the best as far as stadium food.
Yeah, if somebody from Whitewater is listening right now, a great sponsorship opportunity, just call Don for your best food in the WIAC and best stadium food period.
And it won't cost you much. A couple of cocktails and a brat, and I'm good to roll. We'll keep plugging things up. And speaking of, shameless plugs, we've got a show coming up on Sunday, Wisconsin Sports Sunday. Dan and I and the Polish Pipe Bomb will be here from 10 to noon Sunday morning and recapping the Brewer game from Saturday night. The guy over there behind the glass may be kind enough to jump on and join us, as he does quite frequently. And then we've got, obviously, the Badger game to get to. There's just going to be a boatload of stuff rolling through on Sunday. So join us Sunday morning, 10 to noon. We get your Sunday fun day up and rolling. Hunter, should we roll into a little Brandon Woodruff?
Let's do it.
All right. This is Woody at his presser a little bit earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, and it was announced just before that he will miss the NLDS, but not ruling out pitching beyond that should the Brewers advance.
Got it.
Woody, this is probably the last place you want to be again. And I'm wondering how you're processing that and what conversations have gone into reaching this conclusion about not available for this round, but leaving the door open a crack.
Yeah. No, obviously, bad timing, for kind of how it went down. Just getting to this point and being able to, my main goal was to be, healthy at the end of the year and pitch in the playoffs and do the whole thing. Initially, it was a bummer for sure. Got right on top of it. When got checked out. It's a lat strain. So, just got to let it heal and it's literally a day by day thing. And, as far as the rest of the way, not really counting anything out. I just got to come in and go day to day and see where, we're at, but obviously too soon for the divisional series.
Is this about what you expected when you went on the injured list a couple of weeks ago, or has there been any good news, bad news since then, or is this about what you were thinking when it happened?
No, I had no expectations of what was going to happen. I tried to process, as soon as I got the news on the lat strain, and just tried to process, looking forward. And yes, I got great news on the front of the lat strain. Structurally the shoulder is great, which is, I'm happy about that. And obviously that's what I've had to deal with over the last, year and a half, and getting through this season, and but yeah, as far as that, I got great news on that front, and shouldn't be an issue going forward.
Woody, how do you balance the desire to get back in a short amount of time with the other side of the coin of like the long term and what's in it for your future as well?
You just speaking in terms of like for the rest of this playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously, this round was not feasible. But obviously, anytime the longer you keep going, the longer you get days out of this thing, the better the chance. We'll just have to cross that bridge when we get there. As far as right now, like I'm focused on going in and just taking care of myself, getting my treatment, doing all the necessary things I need to do to try to give myself a chance. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I love pitching in the playoffs, and fortunately, we've gotten to do it a lot here over the last, 8-9 years, and been a part of essentially every series besides the last, 23 and the last 3 years now, or 2 years, and that's a bummer for me because I love pitching in these type of games, and obviously with the Cubs coming into town, this is probably one of the biggest, and it's going to be a ton of fun, and so, yeah, I mean, as far as that part of it sucks, but you can't tell when these things are going to pop up. So, but yeah, as I'm doing everything I can to, kind of ride this thing and see what happens here.
Brandon, Murph said you weren't throwing yet. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
So
yes.
Are you just in a rehab state? Like, what are you able to do at this point?
Yeah, right now, just in a kind of a rehab phase of it. And like I said, it's kind of day by day. The longer we kind of get out of this thing, the better the chance. I'm kind of keeping everything on the table at this point. And you know what? It's essentially, like I've been told, it's like a hamstring strain. You get 99%, you feel great. It's that last 1% that can really affect you. And so you really just have to make sure it's 100%. When it's 100%, I don't know. I'm trying every day to get to that point as quick as I can. And that's kind of the way I'm approaching it. So, yeah.
Woody, what were your thoughts when you saw the Cubs advance to this round? And how weird is it going to be to see counts on the other side? I don't know, you guys have played before, but with this high stakes right now.
Gosh, I mean, one, you don't have to fly 4 hours to San Diego to go play a baseball game. You can just drive right up the road. No, I mean, it's as far as both organizations is kind of what you hoped, and kind of as far as the fans are concerned, like this is what it's about, like a rivalry in the playoffs, see who's going to advance. And there's nothing like it. I think it's going to be, every Cubs Brewers game is always pretty intense, and the fans get involved, and it's always a playoff like atmosphere. But I'm sure it's going to be even better for sure, especially here in Chicago. But yeah, I think that part of it last year, counts coming back for the first time, that's kind of, we're kind of past that now. It's just back to baseball. So yeah, I mean, it's the series is going to be something else for sure.
Brandon, you're so beloved and respected in that clubhouse. What do you think you can provide going forward in this run?
Experience, pitching in the playoffs. And you can't explain it unless you go through it. And, I've by no means have I've got a ton of experience, but I've been able to do it and pitching some pretty big playoff games for the Brewers. And it's, but, I've had conversations with, Quinn. He's, I don't know if it's been announced. He's going to start in the series, but just how the playoffs is all about the team and winning the day and how you approach it. You don't have to approach it any differently. It's just, prepare, do everything you've done, but it's real cliche, but I mean, it's literally take everything pitch to pitch and see where you're at the end of the day. So just trying to give him an understanding of like, there's going to be a lot going around the stadium with more cameras. There's more of this, there's more of that, but it doesn't affect what you do on the field. If not more, it helps you focus more. So just trying to help in that way and just kind of be a sounding board in that sense. And just, try to be a great teammate, try to help pick up guys and just be there and, cheering guys on. Cause I mean, there's nothing like playoff games and being there with the guys and, winning games in the playoffs.
Woody, whatever happens the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
What did it mean to you to get these 2 more years with this club? And when you got back on the mound to do that in a Brewers uniform?
For sure. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I sat here, gosh, what was it? 2 years ago this time. So, it meant a ton. I honestly, I didn't know if I was coming back. It was a long road, but I knew it was weird. I knew I had to pitch in this uniform again. What a process, like what, something that was, there was some tough days for sure. But just getting to the point I got to and just getting healthy again and pitching was honestly the most important thing for me. Knowing the longer I got out of this thing, the better I would be. And that's still the truth. I'm still expecting to have everything come back to normal. And there were flashes of that. And that's really all my goal was to do, was just try to be healthy and show some flashes for myself to give me confidence. But, it meant the world just to be able to pitch again in this uniform. Drafted here in 2014. Gosh, yeah. I mean, it's been 11 years with this organization and getting to be a part of, essentially the best era of Brewers baseball. And, it's been a blast. So as far as, the future, I don't know what that will entail, but, I'm glad I had the opportunity to come back here. And, my son was born here last year. I've got so many roots dug here in Milwaukee. So it's, and not just the people in the clubhouse, but, people outside of the baseball field I've gotten to know. And, it's home for sure. It's my second home. And, so I was for sure, I needed to throw in this uniform again.
It stinks listening to that presser, knowing that he can't pitch. And that's what I mean by that. I mean,
yeah, I got you.
I listen to Woody talk, and I mean, even at the end there when he talks about this being his second home, I mean, he's done everything possible, both on and off the field. As a fan, you endear yourself to that. Mm-hmm. And now to know that that strain isn't going to allow him the opportunity in this series against the Cubs, it's heartbreaking to an extent, because he did so much to get back. You talked about what it took.
420.
Right in the middle of a great sentence. Go ahead, Hunter.
Yes, 420 indeed. And it is brought to you by Happy Place Hemp. Use code DrewKB at checkout to get 25% off at happyplacehemp.com. And Happy Place Hemp just dropped their brand new Drift sugar-free THC gummies. Same great Drift flavors, now in a convenient edible form. And if you're looking for those Drift seltzers, they're at these retailers, among others: Amon's in Wind Lake, Ray's in Tosa, and Muskego Liquor.
So now we get to have some fun.
Yes.
After we talk about that fine product with a story that KB always seemingly finds somewhere on the vast internet that, gets very interesting. And
he's got some great stories.
For us, I don't think, Dan, we had to go far to kind of, come together in unison to pick the story that we did, especially in the world of college athletics that we find so endearing, that we get to do our show on Saturday mornings. And that is the return of one Bobby Petrino to the University of Arkansas. How as an athletic director, do you reach out to grab Bobby Petrino
this ought to work well.
to come back to take over your program and then scratch your head and go, why are we such a dumpster fire? Why can't we figure out the SEC? Bobby Petrino, for those of you that don't know, has a great litany of things that have happened to, with, and for him.
Do tell.
That have been just fascinating. In 2001, Petrino's only season as the Jaguars offensive coordinator, he left that to be the OC at Auburn, but allegedly didn't bother to tell head coach Tom Coughlin at the time of the Jacksonville Jaguars that he was leaving. He just walked out the door and, left everybody in a lurch. Like, are we going to have a meeting today? Mm-hmm. Does anybody have a game plan? Oh, he left. He's already gone down the road. Then a year later, while at Auburn, Petrino becomes Louisville's head coach. He then secretly interviews with Auburn boosters trying to get the head coaching job away from Tommy Tuberville. I gave you a head coaching job. Now I want to go back and I want to get the Auburn job and lure that one away from Tommy Tuberville.
Here's where you got to go. Page 2.
Page 2. Yeah.
There's more.
There's more. 6 months. This is in 2007 after signing a 10-year Louisville contract and publicly telling teams to stop pursuing him. Petrino leaves Louisville for the Atlanta Falcons. And then, of course, there's always the infamous news conference in a neck brace after the motorcycle accident in which his side chick was on the back of the motorcycle when they crashed. I mean, this guy is a dumpster fire waiting to happen, and I'm all for it. For when we do our college sports show, because
we know how this ends.
It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be more to the list. Now, I jumped the gun a little bit because Hunter was going to tell us the tavern of the day. The tavern of the day.
Oh, no, we do that at 5.
We do that at 5?
We do.
Oh, good tease.
Oh,
nice job, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I meant to do.
Yeah, exactly. Just tease what's coming up.
Yeah.
Very
the,
professional.
5 o'clock. Thank you so much.
Exactly.
Okay.
Pro.
And again, what does this come down to? Reading. Hunter has it all laid out for me.
Yeah, but it
comes down to reading.
We talk about teasing what's next, right? We want to make the listeners stick around a little, to bring you behind the curtain here.
Right.
So that's
Yes.
exactly what you just did.
We're taking down the fourth wall and we're letting everybody
Exactly.
in to find out what's
It's a
happening.
Friday. Why not?
Oh, dear goodness. What time do we get to go to the bar? What time does this
Not
thing
quite
wrap
yet.
up? 6 o'clock? Jeez.
Half
my.
hour. 35 minutes and 40 seconds to be exact.
Thank you. I appreciate when the man puts the clock on. When he puts the clock on, then we're ready to go.
Yes.
What was your take, Hunter, with Woody?
It's unfortunate.
Again, I feel awful.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that you can't help but just kind of, rally around.
Oh, for sure. And I think with Woodruff, when we were at his locker, his last couple of starts, every answer, especially his last one, every answer seemed to lead back to, I just got to get ready for the postseason. I just got to be healthy for the postseason. And he was so excited to be back on that mound in the playoffs. And yes, he just said his main goal was to come back, pitch in the Brewers uniform one more time. Who knows what the future holds? And yes, that was his main goal. But there's no doubt in his mind that he had missed the last 2 postseasons for this team.
Yeah.
And the last time he pitched in the postseason was 2021. That's 4 years ago now. And to be in the meat of his career and miss the postseason possibly again, that's just so tough. So I just, like I said, I feel for him because I know how excited he was to get back on a postseason.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to a break. When we come back, we've got more Brewer talk. We'll get into some Badger football. Just a ton to get to here as we make our way through a Friday. Don and Dan, along with Hunter Baumgart, filling in for the guys. It's the Drew and KB show here on The Game.
Sunday night, October 26th, the legend and his backup meet for the first time. And Zabe, Butch, and the Russ Darrow Automotive Group want you to watch the game with them in the Steel City. Get to thegameandstuff.com contests and sign up to win this epic road trip with the fella.
Let's go.
Thegameandstuff.com/contests.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Heavy delays westbound on 894 from the Mitchell interchange to Loomis, where you got a crash taking out the two right lanes. 94 eastbound stall at 68th has now been moved off to the left shoulder. Still got delays from 84th to 35th. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
Eli Manning here. There's nothing like football and King's Hawaiian sliders. There's something about those soft, fluffy, irresistible King's Hawaiian sliders that make them a winner on game day. Pick some up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. King's Hawaiian. There's nothing like it.
This report is sponsored by King's Hawaiian Sliders.
Drew and KB here with our buddies, Rob and Chris from HappyPlaceHemp.com.
You have a wide range of products, each of which has a different effect. How should I go about finding what's right for me?
The easiest thing to do is just try stuff. And like try our sample pack, for example. You can try all 7 varieties of gummies that we currently have. And then you can see which one works best for you, because everyone's unique and everyone has different experiences. But what I tell people to look for THC and CBD ratios. Higher CBD, lower THC concentrations are more for daily use. And then the higher THC type stuff, Delta 9s, Delta 8s, those are going to be more for, the fun factor.
If I drink a can of your seltzer, what will I experience?
I would say the unique thing about the seltzer is you're going to start feeling the effects in maybe 20 minutes to a half an hour where you're not, on the couch, but you just have a really good feeling about it.
Now get 25% off your entire order with the code Drew and KB in-store and online at HappyPlaceHemp.com.
Bryant and Trent College's Wauwatosa campus now offers 20 intercollegiate athletic programs. Competing at the NJCAA Division II level gives Bryant and Trent College the opportunity to offer scholarships to student athletes. Learn more about Bryant and Trent College and Bobcats athletics at bscbobcats.com.
Step into American Place Casino, where the excitement never ends. Located in Waukegan, Illinois, just a short drive from Milwaukee. Over 900 slot machines, your favorite table games, 4 restaurants, live entertainment, and now our brand new poker room. Plus, we're proud to be the friendliest casino around with service that sets us apart. Whether you're here to hit the jackpot, catch a game, or just have an unforgettable night out, American Place Casino has it all. American Place Casino. Closer than you think. Friendlier than you expect. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling, and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Think Verizon, the best 5G network, is expensive? Think again. Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Now, what to do with your unwanted bills? Maybe turn them into paper airplanes headed to See Ya Never AT&T and T-Mobile. Jokes aside, the best 5G network has you covered with the most ways to save on plans, streaming, and phone deals. So bring in your bill to your local Verizon store and we'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metric True Score report dated 1H2025. Your results may vary. Must provide a postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person receiving the deal. Additional terms apply.
With great deals coming this Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th, greatness is a deal away. So if you love baking, you can get a deal on a new mixer, transforming you into the Lord of the Loaves.
Hear ye, make way for the baron of brioche, the sultan of sourdough, the lord of the loaves, Prime Member Dave!
Yeah, hi? Get up to 40% off with Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Make 97.3 The Game your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
I love love this song. I'm not gonna lie, I love this song.
Little George Michael on a Friday afternoon. Nice
This
job.
is the Matt
Hunter.
Miller theme song.
Yeah. All right. This is good stuff. All right, welcome back in. Drew and KB, the guys got the day off. Don and Dan filling in as we make our way through a Friday, and we bring in our entertainment correspondent.
Yes.
Matt Miller. That song was phenomenal. It's like, when guys come in, Matt, and they have to buy the jersey number, I think we're going to have to negotiate. I think that negotiate over. All right, Hunter, jump in, my friend.
No, yeah, that's great. Matt, where did you come up with the theme song?
So if I remember, I think it was, I wrote it. I was the third member of Wham.
Yeah, sure. WHAM, you were the A.
Exactly. But actually, I remember, I think it was Josh Reddick used it as his walk-up music for the Oakland days back in the day. And I just remember the crowd loved it. And such the perfect vibe of we're having fun at the ballpark. And I mean, the song rules. It puts you in a good mood, So.
I love the fact he was the third member of Wham. He was the Wake Me Up and Go-Go. That's how the T-shirts rolled back in the day.
More guys out there that are not taking themselves so seriously on their walk-up music that they could do something like that. That's special.
Hey, Matt, with Halloween coming up, is there anything on the horizon? Now, I'll tell you this. My favorite, now I can't think of the name of the insurance company, where the
the Geico ad?
Geico ad, yes.
Oh, yeah.
I will play the Geico ad continuously every day moving forward because I love its play on horror movies and how they go. But that's changed over time, and some of the stuff coming out now is pretty much a hot mess from a good point of view as far as being scared.
Yeah. People aren't hiding behind the wall of chainsaws anymore, especially in horror movies.
Why can't we just get in a running car?
There's a lot of really good horror movies coming out this year, though. Weirdly enough, Halloween falls on a Friday. You would think there would be a scary movie coming out on Halloween. Weirdly, there isn't. That's actually, I believe, the day the Springsteen movie comes out. So unless you really hate Springsteen, that's kind of a weird Halloween choice. But for instance, there's an indie horror movie coming out this weekend called Good Boy, which is a haunted house movie told from the perspective of a dog living in the house. So if you're one of those people who's like, why does the dog always have to die in this horror movie? This is the horror movie for you because it's about the dog being like, hey, man, what's going on in this house?
Dogs just get the hell out of the house. What are you doing?
Yes, leave. Once the guy walks in with the axe, it's time to go. Go ahead, Hunter. I jumped in on you.
No, you're fine. I got.
I will also say I'm really
Please
excited.
do.
They're bringing back some older horror movies back to theaters too. So I never got to see the original Alien on the big screen. I've obviously seen it at home. Obviously seen it on Blu-ray and all that. But I'm very excited. The Time Cinema over in, I believe that's Tosa, is going to be showing Alien back on the big screen. So that's really exciting. I believe some theaters are doing Nightmare on Elm Street again, like all the classics. Not the godforsaken remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, but the original. But yeah, it's a fun type of season because, you have these interesting horror movies coming out. You have these classics coming back to the screen because seeing a horror movie at your home is fine. And it's not, but seeing a horror movie in a theater with a bunch of people all stressed out at the same time, there's a reason why horror movies are kind of the one genre that haven't really been absorbed by streaming services. You don't want to be scared sitting on your couch home and alone. You want that energy of an entire crowd tense, and then the jump happens and everyone in the crowd has the nervous laughter and then they're back and locked in on the movie. Horror still is the ultimate, in a way, theatrical experience we've got.
Matt Miller joining us, our entertainment correspondent, or I should say Drew and KB's entertainment correspondent. Matt, okay, speaking of which then, what do you watch at home that to this day still gets you? You know what I mean? Like that horror movie that if you sit down tonight and watch it, suddenly various rooms have lights on until you fall asleep. Like for me, it's this goes back to the 90s, the movie Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, yeah. That's a good pick.
The goofy stuff comes, and then all of a sudden, the guy comes, or Jacob comes down to say, okay, Dad, come on. And you realize that Dad was in the process of dying and all the things that were taking place, with his hallucinations. That I remember, boy, every single light in the house went on till I fell asleep that night because that one got me. What about you? What's the one that always, no matter how many times you've watched it?
Yeah, so if I'm looking for a horror movie to watch this weekend, I would probably say the Wisconsin-Michigan game. But
what up, Bub? Hey, Matt's here all night, everybody.
And there go all my Badger fans. Sorry, everybody. But
enjoy the veal. I'm back at 10.
But no, in all seriousness, The Shining is my go-to horror movie. I think that one I know, ironically, for a movie that, is set in a cold weather setting, it just chills me every time. I get so, it is not a jump scary movie, but it is one that just crawls under your skin and just
it messes with your brain.
Yeah, it feels like a nightmare. And I think those are the kind of horror movies I'm drawn to the most. A good jump scare is fun, but those ones that feel like you are walking in a nightmare, that have that kind of weird logic of a dream where it's like, why is this hallway seemingly going on forever? Why do I feel so slow? That's the kind of stuff that really kind of gnaws at the back of your head. So that's why I believe The Shining is going to be another one of those movies that local theaters are going to be bringing back. So that's my horror go-to.
That one, between the casting of everybody they had in that movie, it just fit, and the whole movie was just wonderfully off. You were kind of in the psyche, and then the way it ends with the close up on the picture, and there's Jack Nicholson smiling that Jack Nicholson grin.
Yeah.
Is just it's a fantastic movie just to go back to again and again. Although I tried showing that to my daughters and they don't get it. They don't understand. They're used to more of the slasher type now. So
it is not a modern horror movie in that way.
It is not.
It is, especially because of the pace of it. It's a 2.5 hour long, and it takes a while to get to the creepy stuff. It takes a while. It is a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of awkward details. I mean, people always talk about, it is a movie about, kind of domestic abuse on some level because, Nicholson has this very unsettling, overbearing feeling over that movie. And it's not spoken of very much, but there's just these unsettling vibes that kind of, I think it is one that the older you get, the more unsettling it is because you see those kind of very thin fractures that become, the crazy end of the movie where a guy's running around in a hedge maze with an axe.
Matt, do you allow yourself to go in the Wayback Machine, like 30s, 40s? Like I find myself, as we get closer to Halloween, loving Turner Classic movies, like 100%. The original Frankenstein, bring Boris Karloff, or Lon Chaney as Dracula, those types of movies. Just this time of year, I mean, they are a little campy, but it's the 1930s and 1940s. It's gotta have some perspective on it for you to sit back, with the popcorn and go ahead and enjoy, especially for that time of year.
Yeah, or I know it's not all the way back in the classic Universal Monsters era, but like Psycho, that the first slasher movie in its way. We did miss something when Hollywood went from black and white to color, because the way they used shadows, the way that the movies had this shading and this beautiful, and not that modern movies don't have that kind of elements to it, but just that black and white look of those films, the richness of the dark shadows and stuff like that. You do miss some of that. And God bless TCM, that's one of those things that should never go away, to be able to go back and watch some of those movies and see the influences and see the incredible craft. I mean, yes, some of those movies are dated in their ways and, have a campiness to them. But they're the craft of them, the makeup and the things they were able to pull off. There's always one clip, I forget which movie it's from, where they managed to make an elderly woman and make her face transform into this kind of gremlin face, all in one shot, just by using particular makeup and lighting schemes. And it's just that's ingenious. That's the kind of stuff that CGI, as incredible as it can be in some cases, can't really replicate. It can't replicate that feeling of I'm watching something real transforming before my eyes.
And not only can it replicate it, there are sometimes I think CGI gets relied on too heavily and it becomes too campy. I'm stuck on that word. That's today's word. Today's show being brought to you by Campy. But when you look at some of those older films, like you said, with what they had to do with the technology that they had and the realism that came from it, it's something else. All right, let's pivot off of that. I know The Rock has got a new movie coming out. I haven't been able to necessarily wrap my arms around it and understand with the Smashing Machine. I mean, it looks like it could be really good, but give us a little background on what the story is.
Yeah, so this is a biopic starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Mark Kerr, kind of one of the but one of the early pioneers of what would become UFC, what would become this gigantic sports entertainment monolith now. And Emily Blunt is in it as well, who plays this kind of, on again, off again girlfriend. And I really like this. I checked this out last night. It is not going to be for everyone. It is surprisingly kind of restrained. You imagine like a UFC biopic starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. You imagine, big crowd pleaser. You imagine, kind of the fighter kind of vibe. And it has a little bit of the fighter energy, but it is so withholding from the audience. It is not a movie about like the big crowd pleasing moments and big emotional highs and lows. It almost is purposefully restraining those from the audience. And this is going to sound really weird, but the UFC biopic is strangely tender. Like, it is a movie about these male friendships in this brutal sport that at the time didn't really offer that much. Like, these guys are fighting in like kind of crummy circuits in Japan at this time. Mm-hmm. This was not the days of now where it's this massive production and ESPN. These guys were pummeling each other and the rules were getting made up at the time and all this stuff. And there's this, I found it almost sweet that these guys have such a friendship to one another, and they're like the only ones who can understand why they do this bloody, insane sport. I enjoyed it. I imagine a lot of people, if they're expecting a more conventional biopic, are going to be really frustrated by it because it doesn't have a lot of that, like the narrative tissue and the big kind of Oscar scenes you're expecting from the movie. There's maybe one or two of those. But if you're kind of into the kind of strange energy the movie has, I really enjoyed it. And I would recommend it to people, but just know what you're going into. This is not going to be, a classic biopic. This isn't going to be, your classic sports feel-good story. It's an oddball kind of biopic.
So is this, and this is the ignorant question of the day, is this a movie that's based on actual people that were in UFC, or is this kind of a dramatization of what it was like to be there at that time?
Yeah, this is a Mark Kerr, real person, a real person in the world of UFC. As a matter of fact, there's actual UFC fighters playing individuals in it. So I'm pretty sure, I'm not the biggest UFC historian, so I can't speak entirely to how accurate some things are, but Mark Kerr is real. And I believe this was adapted in a way from a documentary that came out a few years ago that was supposed to be tremendous, but unfortunately that documentary is like impossible to find now. So if you can't find that documentary, this is kind of the next best thing. And it is more of an indie movie than a conventional Hollywood sports movie. And if you're kind of braced for that, you may enjoy it.
I've heard people speak towards the movie or things that I've read similar to what you said. Real quick, because I know we're up against a break, Matt. I hear a lot of people thinking that this could be an opportunity for The Rock as far as an Academy Award goes.
I think he's going to get nominated. It's the kind of role they love. He's wearing makeup. I'm just so happy to see him trying again in a movie. It's been like 10 years since The Rock wasn't playing a guy in a white shirt and khakis and refusing to lose.
Does Kevin Hart show?
It's nice to see him like putting in an effort in a movie again. Because back in the day, I was like, he's going to be the next Schwarzenegger. He's got the talent. If he works with interesting directors, he could be huge. And then he stopped working with interesting directors and made kind of, forgettable, Hollywood blockbusters. It's fun to see him trying again. It's a good movie. It's a really good performance. I'll be interested to see how it does. We're still a long ways away from awards nominations. Yeah, right. We're still months away. So we'll see what other movies come out that maybe knock it off its perch. But for now, if I was a betting man, I would say he probably makes the 5.
All right, Matt. Thank you so much, as always, for jumping on the program on a Friday. And off the air, we'll start negotiations over this theme song, okay?
I demand $1 million and all of your tickets. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, guys. And go Brewers this weekend.
Go Brewers.
Go Brewers.
Song is yours, boss. We'll talk to you soon. All right. That's Matt Miller joining us as we kind of made our way through some things that are occurring in the world of entertainment. Let's get to a break. On the other side of the break, we'll flip it back into the world of sports. It's Don and Dan filling in for Drew and KB. Hunter's on the other side of the glass, and we're back in a little bit.
There's no comfort in the truth.
Now, it's your chance to win $1,000. Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, cash. That's cash. Enter it now. TheGameandStuff.com. TheGameandStuff.com.
The people have spoken, and the results are undeniable. Ridgetop Exteriors delivers. We swept the People's Choice Awards: Best Roofing, Best Siding, Best Windows, and Best Overall Home Improvement Company. That's not just winning, that's setting the standard with expert craftsmanship, top materials, and service that keeps homeowners coming back. 4 categories, 4 wins, 1 name. Ridgetop Exteriors, your only choice for home exteriors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com and experience the difference today.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
KB, it's an Iron Jock base layer 3-piece.
Talk to me, Drew.
1T, long or short sleeve, plus boxers and performance socks. Perfect for active guys who want to stay comfortable and stink-free.
Great for yard work, hiking, or Viking weekends. And for hunters, your smell won't give up your location. Talk about an unfair advantage. How much are we talking about?
The short sleeve bundle is $45. Long sleeves, $50. That's about $16 per item for quality and performance that lasts.
Now through this Sunday, October 5th only.
That's ironjock.com, ironjoc.com.
At Great Midwest Bank, we've been serving Southeast Wisconsin homeowners for 90 years. Wait, 2025 minus 1935, 90 years. Wow. In our 90 years as a community bank, we've learned a lot about the values of the people who live and work here and appreciate the loyal customers that have made Great Midwest Bank who we are today. Find a location at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender and member FDIC.
Coming around the right side, going for the pylon, in for the
Feel the
touchdown.
energy as My24 brings you primetime preps game day action from the gridiron. It's a greater Metro City melee as the Brookfield Central Lancers lock up with the Brookfield East Spartans. Coverage begins with Mike McGivern and special guest on the Primetime Preps pregame show tonight at 6:30. Then it's game time with Gruber Law Office's Primetime Preps football, presented by Marquette University at 7. All on My Place for Sports, My24.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
KB here with the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat a day. It's called Milwaukee Weight Loss. No drugs, no injections, no prepackaged meals. It changed my life. It will change yours too.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-433-4008 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Catholic Memorial High School honors Student Athlete of the Month, Gabe Talla. With a 3.99 GPA, Gabe is not only captain of the football team, but a 3-sport athlete competing in football, basketball, and track. Gabe is a CMH Student Ambassador, inspiring young players. As a proud graduate of St. Anthony on the Lake, Gabe's known for being well-spoken, driven, and grounded in faith. Congratulations, Gabe Talla. Your future is bright and your CMH community is proud. Learn more on how your student can achieve more. Go to CatholicMemorial.net.
All right, smart and good-looking listeners, KB here. The inevitable is right around the corner. Winter, snow, wind, freezing temperatures, and if your house is drafty, winter will be miserable. You know, Miss Sue and I are thrilled with our new windows, but windows aren't the only thing that lets winter in your home. It could be your siding. That's why you need Javier and the team at Tilton Windows, Doors, and More. They've kept Milwaukee homes warm and looking good for years. Not only are they experts in window installation, they offer the industry's most advanced solid core siding that will withstand anything Wisconsin winter throws at you. Think about it. New siding protects your biggest investment. It boosts curb appeal, lowers energy costs, and the siding is backed by lifetime limited warranties, including fade protection, and they're even transferable to the next owner of your home. So get your siding project started today. Just go to utilton.com. They'll get back to you and help you get your project started so you can be ready for a toasty warm winter. That's the letter U, Tilton.com.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
This is Rob Parker. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Major League Baseball.
The Brewers will face the division rival Cubs in the NL Division Series. The best of 5 set begins tomorrow at American Family Field. Buck star Giannis Antetokounmpo will join the team in Miami ahead of its preseason game with the Heat on Monday. He is getting over COVID. And the NCAA basketball tournaments are reportedly close to expanding to 76 teams as early as 2027 with 12 play-in games. I'm Frank Garrity.
MLB's postseason is heating up.
How good was that?
October hits different. Watch baseball at its finest. Postseason 2025. Major League Baseball. Trademarks used with permission.
All right, welcome back as we make our way to the top of the hour. Hunter Baumgart on the other side of the glass. Don and Dan filling in for Drew and KB once again on a well-deserved break as the bye week hits for the Packers. The bye week hits for Drew and KB as well. Listen, we're trying to increase the online presence on Instagram. We're trying to get this thing to 3,800 at 97.3 The Game. Let's go, people. Let's go, people.
Yeah,
all right. As long as we're getting closer, we're heading in the right direction. All right. We're at the top of the hour. On the other side, we'll hear from Craig Counsell. He had his presser as we continue to prep for the big game tomorrow between the Brewers and the Cubs. Drew and KB. We'll be right back.
97.3 The Game. This is what's trending in Milwaukee now.
This sports update is brought to you by American Place Casino. Nonstop excitement just over the Wisconsin border in Lake County, Illinois. I'm Dave Gasper. The League Division Series are now set across baseball. The Milwaukee Brewers will get things started on Saturday afternoon with a 1:08 first pitch against the division rival Chicago Cubs. Freddie Peralta will get the start for the Brewers in Game 1, and after the last pitch, make the switch to the baseball postgame show with Tim Allen right here on The Game. The Brewers got good news on injured starter Brandon Woodruff as well. Although he will miss the NLDS with a lat injury, his surgically repaired shoulder is unaffected, and he could potentially return later this postseason. And the Wisconsin Badgers will return off their bye week and face off against Michigan on Saturday. Kickoff is at 11 a.m. I'm Dave Gasper on Milwaukee's most listened to sports station, 97.3 The Game.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
Stop and go most of the way on 43 southbound Good Hope to the Marquette. About a 17-minute trip there. On to 4394 southbound, another 10 to the Mitchell with a stall on the right. Westbound on 894 heavy from the Mitchell to Loomis with a crash blocking the right lane. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest Total Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. At Lowe's, save on job site supplies with My Lowe's Pro Rewards. Eligible members enjoy volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms, subject to change.
You're not just tired, you're drained. Dragging yourself out of bed, powering through work with caffeine, skipping workouts, zoning out at home. That 6 to 10 o'clock evening window, it used to be your time. Now you're barely holding on. Lower energy, poor sleep, no drive. If that sounds like you, it might be low testosterone, and you're not alone. It's Drew Olson from 97 Through the Game, and I was in that exact spot with less gas in the tank. I got tested at Game Day Men's Health, and it changed everything. I've been amazed at the level of service I've received at Game Day and how quick the treatments are. It's part of my routine now. You can make it part of yours. They are looking to help you at Game Day Men's Health. It's fast, it's simple, and it's built for guys on the go. Like no waiting rooms, no awkward questions, just a free T-level test and real solutions that work. You've got a life to live. Don't waste it on the couch. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com and book your free testosterone test today. Game Day Men's Health. Get into one of the 5 area locations, get results, and get back in the game.
Broadcasting from the all-new Iron Jock Studios, built by Reamer Remodel. Turn it up! This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee, 97.3 The Game.
Drew Olson from 97 Through the Game for Pep's Draft House Pizza, the official pizza of the Timeout Sports Lounge. When it comes to pizza, there is no other pizza quite like Pep's Prohibition Special. It starts with a combination of sweet and slightly spicy Italian sausage, pepperoni, mushrooms, yellow, green, and red peppers, and just the right amount of red onions. Real Wisconsin mozzarella, and it's finished off with fresh Italian seasoning. My gosh, that's the good stuff. Make your house a draft house with Pep's Prohibition Special Pizza. KB, everyone is raving about Central Standard's brandy old-fashioned in a can.
They should. It's made with their award-winning North Brandy, infused with Leinenkugel's delicious flavors used in their shandy wines.
Just grab a can, open, and enjoy. No mixing or muddling needed.
So good. Join us out here.
At Advent, we help sleep apnea sufferers avoid the CPAP machine by getting your nose and throat working with our unique Advent approach that you won't find elsewhere.
Are you sick and tired of sad, skimpy, frozen pizzas that lack toppings and flavor? Problem solved! Screamin' Sicilian brings the party to pizza with mountains of whole milk mozzarella, premium meats, and veggies stacked to the sky. No tweaks necessary, just tons of toppings and amazing flavor. Just bake it, bite it, and let it rip.
Woo! That's so screaming good!
Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer section. Screamin' Sicilian, toppings piled high, screaming loud, always delicious.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
With great deals coming this Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th, greatness is a deal away. So if you love baking, you can get a deal on a new mixer, transforming you into the Lord of the Loaves.
Hear ye! Make way for the baron of brioche, the sultan of sourdough, the lord of the loaves, Prime Member Dave!
Yeah, hi?
Get up to 40% off with Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th.
Hey, what's up? It's Russell Nicolay with Nicolay Law. If you get injured, it's Nicolay time.
Make 97.3 The Game your number one preset on our free iHeartRadio app, powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
1, 2, 3, 4!
Hello, smart and good-looking listeners across Wisconsin. Drew and KB's Timeout Sports Lounge is now open. So grab a bar stool and belly up because it's time to knock a few back with your host, Drew and KB.
So basically you have Jim, Jack, Johnny Red, Johnny Black, and Jose, all my favorite men.
Time for drinking, bud.
Wake up while it's cold, ladies. Toilet wine is a big thing in there, and people get their drink on.
We sat and drank with the sun on our shoulders and felt like free men.
I don't know what inferior swill this is, but I ordered a Lagavulin.
Set him up and I'll knock him back, Lloyd. 1-1.
We hope there isn't a single fan who is having a problem with the two-fisted slopper.
Drink. The king commands it.
They took the bar! The whole bar!
Medium dry martini, lemon peel, shaken, not stirred.
All right, welcome in. Don and Dan, along with Hunter Baumgart, sitting in today as we now slide into the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. Before I get in, I love the end of that. When we go from Animal House to Bond, that's just such a great
it's a
edit.
great intro.
Just awesome. Good job, KB. You hear about the Central Standard Craft Distillery every day on the Drew and KB show, and now is your chance to vote for them for a national award. Central Standard Craft Distillery has been nominated for Best Craft Vodka as part of the USA Today's 10 Best Reader's Choice Awards. Vote for Central Standard Craft Distillery once per day until voting ends on Monday, October 13th, which will be at noon Eastern, 11 o'clock our time. The 10 winning distilleries will be announced on Wednesday, October 22nd. Go to thegameandstuff.com/Drew and KB to find the link to vote. All right, we got to get to our drink of the day. Professor, it's on you, my friend.
Gentlemen, I need some help with this. I'm feeling a little bourbony today.
Bourbony?
Putting that
Okay.
in. So we've got a couple options. With the Cubs in town, Central Standard has a wonderful bourbon called L Flag Bourbon. And what a great weekend to fly the L. And, Central has this wonderful giant flag of L Flag. I hope they're flying that about 5 days from now, 6 days from now, just on the top of the aviary, do that. So you have that option. You have option number one. Or you could do the double platinum winner, American Spirits Council's Tasters, with the 2025 Ascot Award winning Cabin Strength, which I think Drew and KB are big fans of.
Very much.
They have their own barrel coming up, I think, sometime in November.
Yeah.
Either way, you can't go wrong. But what say you?
I'm
Flag?
I'm going with the L.
Yeah,
I'm going with the L.
Considering the theme of the weekend.
Yes, because of the weekend. Otherwise, it'd be a more difficult choice. But I'm going with the L.
Gotcha.
Because of the Brewers.
All right, then the L Flag it is. You get a couple rocks in there. You just sit back and you enjoy the games. That'll do it.
We are. Hunter?
Yes.
How about some pizza, my friend?
Oh, pizza is I'll tell you. The specific pizza that I'm about to talk about, it's really mind-blowing.
Really
I mean, KB talks about it and sometimes I get choked up with how good this is, but it's quite amazing.
Yeah.
It is Pep's Pizza. So it's Pep's legit pizzas created from tried and true family recipes. KB puts it so eloquently. I'll only try to, be half of what he is when he talks about Pep's Pizza because it's touching. But Pep's legit pizza tastes like it came from your favorite childhood pizzas. It's the ultimate at-home pizza parlor experience. So you talk about having pizza out. You don't even need to go out. You can sit at home and enjoy some of the finest pizza you'll ever find. These pizzas have for real Midwest pizzeria flavors. It go from freezer to table in minutes. And the toppings, I mean, they're piled high. I mean,
how high, Hunter?
You could think you're snowed in by the amount of toppings that Pep's Pizza has. So get to your local grocer and get the Pep's Draft House Pizza. House spelled Haus, house. And as I say every single day, it's 3 M's good.
Somebody checked the water bottle. I think the L Bourbon has already found its way in there for Mr. Hunter.
Look, every single day we rightfully so emphasize the importance of Pep's Pizza.
Oh my God.
So I wanted to make sure I did that today.
There's nothing better than a great frozen pizza like Pep's. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, you just get chills thinking about it.
Now, this is the moment I'm waiting for.
Oh.
It is time for Hunter to unveil the bar of the day. Now, I think I may have gone in the wrong order, which I apologize for.
Oh.
But what is the bar of the day, Hunter?
The bar of the day is Dell's Bar.
Let's go! go
in lacrosse. And for more, here's Don.
Oh my gosh, Dell's Bar and
There are memories
Lacrosse.
attached here. There and maybe
Third
some
and Vine.
vague memories,
Oh,
but
they're vague. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. Eddie Arnold's cattle call on the jukebox, a bottle of Blatt sitting at the end as you walked in and enjoyed a couple of festive. It's a festive atmosphere with a few bottles of libation to kick off your evening before you make your way down 3rd Street. Hunter, you understand 3rd Street and Lacrosse and what that means to the college campus. It's State Street in Madison. It's 3rd Street in Lacrosse. Right. Everybody's got it's University Avenue in Arizona. It's got different, names to it, but everybody's got that row that when you were in college, you enjoyed. And oh my gosh, Dell's was such a great place to kick things off with and enjoy again, just being a college student. Thank you for that. Going into happy hour. It
sounds like it's, a trip down memory lane.
I'm having a moment here. I'm reliving life.
Dan, let's just let him.
Once again, great radio. Why is it so quiet? Oh, he's having a moment.
He's having a moment.
Just let him have his
If you need Dan and I to have a quick discussion about Brewers and Cubs, you just let us know. Okay.
Let's move to some Brewer and Cub talk here so I can get myself out of trouble.
We're getting for club.
As we sit inside of the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge, how much emphasis or energy, that's a better word, are you spending, Hunter, towards the whole Craig Counsell thing? We're going to hear from Craig Counsell here in just a moment, but there's a lot of people over time that still haven't necessarily gotten over the divorce and spend a lot of time and energy in trying to concern themselves, I'll say it that way, with Craig Counsell and what he's doing with the Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, I have never heard booing like I heard that first game he came back. And you could tell the vitriol behind those boos. That was intense. And it's been he's obviously been booed every time he's announced before the game but this, so I think, but it has obviously not been to that level that we heard on that day, that first time he came back to Milwaukee last year.
Let me ask you.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
I think it could be possibly back to that point. Now, I still don't know if it'll reach that level. That level was I just have never heard that something quite like that, but I think it is going to be close. I think this renews it a little bit.
Okay.
You'll hear Craig try to downplay it a little bit in his press conference, which is to be expected. But I do think that more fans are still holding on to that than maybe people realize within the baseball sphere, so to speak. I think it still matters more to fans than people realize, because we're still less than 2 years away and from it happening. It was November of 2023 and we're in October of 2025. We're not even 2 years later, still.
Dan, how much of the vitriol was the fact that he left us? I'll say it that way, and went to the Cubs. Had he left and, let's say, took the job in Cleveland, which at the time many were reporting that he was a front runner for, does the vitriol still exist?
No.
Let's say in an interleague game, he comes in with Cleveland and plays the Brewers. Do you hear that to the level Hunter's describing, or is it more of a fact that he came back with the Cubs?
He shocked everybody by going to the Cubs. I don't think anybody was expecting him to go to the Cubs. And I still remember listening to this station and hearing that news break and hearing the reaction. I think was it Heller that broke it, and hearing his response, just the shock in his voice.
That's the thing. It was one of the most shocking. Other than Favre going to the Vikings, I guess, but I don't even know if that was the shock.
Only because he was removed.
Right.
He had done the Jets thing and then decided to jump ship, which I think many of us in our heart of hearts knew he wanted to do in the first place, to stick it to the Green Bay Packers. But yeah, Hunter, I'm sorry, but that separation, I think, lessened the hostility a little bit, because I think everybody just kind of knew it was coming.
Right. And this was, I mean, it came out in dribbles because it was first, he's managing next season because there is a talk of whether he would take a year off. So
That's right.
First it was he's managing next season, but it's not with the Brewers. Okay, all right. So now it's probably maybe New York with David Stearns, Cleveland, like you mentioned, and then it was. Okay, Stephen Vogt all of a sudden got the Cleveland job. Okay, it's not Stephen. And then Mendoza got the Mets job. Okay, it's not Mendoza. And then it was he's managing for a team that already has a manager. So that was the next report. And this is all that morning. I can't remember the exact date, but it was that November morning.
And at no point, no one's talking about the Cubs yet.
No.
No one has any idea.
I remember seeing the Ken Rosenthal tweet on my phone, and it said, Craig Counsell's going to be the next manager of the Cubs. And it's like, just absolute shock. And so then it becomes, then obviously everybody is upset. And I think part of it was the way he maybe handled the press conference in Chicago and saying it surprised them, that there was this that people were mad and didn't necessarily see that coming and how that rubbed off on Brewers fans. And so I think all of that combined. And then, how Pat Murphy has then come in, had success, and also been this lovable manager with pocket pancakes. There's all of that combined that has kept this thing going. And the fact that the Brewers have won back-to-back division titles, you've won. And this all, I feel like, comes to a head over these next 5 games.
There's something to be said about Murph as well when it comes to there's that down-home honesty.
For sure.
Where sometimes I think Counsell kind of negotiates himself through.
Yelich literally said it this afternoon. Murphy doesn't always say the politically correct thing.
Right.
He says, what's the honest thing? And Craig, I think, really thinks about his answers before. Really and I'm not saying one's right or wrong, but it's 2 completely different approaches. And as a reporter, I've loved covering Pat Murphy because you can really tell where he's at, where the team's at. And is he going to tell you everything? No, it's like they kept this Woodruff update for days and days and days. And that's fine. They have to do strategy-wise what they have to do, and we understand that. But there is a stark difference, and I think that down-home honesty appeals. Now, the thing about Craig was he was one of us, like one of the, he grew up in Milwaukee. And so that was obviously how could you go to the Cubs was obviously the natural reaction.
Wasn't it the thing during that press conference that you referenced, he made a mention, and you'll know this because I'm gonna murder this, where he kind of called it like the best opportunity or the best place to coach. Or
right. It was
like
it was his dream job.
His dream job. Yes.
I think that was what he used.
And you hear that. You went to your arch enemy. You were one of us.
Right.
You were born, raised. We've got the pictures of you
with
the Brewers at County Stadium. There are all these things. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the Cubs.
Right.
The Cubs are your dream job?
And it goes back to when we were talking about Woody before. When you endear yourself to the community, you become a member of that community. And there are people that leave. And there are people when they leave. I always go back to the CC Sabathia thing.
Sure.
He was in our community for a very short period of time, but talk about somebody who dove in and endeared himself to the team, the community, the whole 9 yards. And that when it came time for him to then enter free agency, you knew the Brewers, they were going to make an offer that was not to the level of obviously what the Yankees were going to make, but it wasn't such a low ball offer that they looked ridiculous and kept their PR perspective intact, with that whole situation. But when you look at CC, I mean, you see him now. Anytime I just got done hammering the Yankees in the opening of today's program, but anytime I saw CC on the mound, I became a Yankee. I rooted for that guy simply because it was like, give me the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And his agent's telling him, you're getting ready for free agency. Why don't you? No, I'm here to win. Give me the ball. That he just endeared himself so much that when he left, it was like, okay, I can root for him. When Counsell left and said some of the things, Dan, that you just said, that's when it was like, no, I can't do this anymore. This is
It hurts too much.
yes.
Yeah, and it's the video I know was circulating last night. The the video of the promotional video of talking about the Brewers are in our blood and the DNA, like all that type of stuff. I think that's so fans obviously draw back on that one.
Yes, why not? Because that's the beauty of social media. In some cases, is that it's there. Right.
Yeah.
When you try and say, well, no, what I meant was no.
Right.
Here it is. We don't have to really search the archive. Should we hear from the former manager there, Mr. Hunter?
I think we should.
Let's do it. This is Craig Counsell talking at his presser earlier this afternoon at American Family Field.
Hey, Counsell, welcome back.
Thank you.
Is it your feelings just sitting up there, kind of a full circle moment in a way? Back in this room?
No, I mean, I think we've been over that part of it. I think we're over that part of it. We're getting ready for a playoff series and trying to advance to have a chance to play in the World Series. That's the job at hand right now, and that's the focus right now. We've already done the other stuff. That's how I'm looking at it.
I meant more like, at that exact desk and stuff. And just
I guess I did spend a lot of time in here. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Weren't that many people in the room usually? Maybe 3 of you. It's all right, Adam.
How you doing?
Good, Bruce.
Did you sleep good last night?
Great.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
What is the calculus that you will use to determine your pitching progression for tomorrow's game? Is there, how much is science? How much is, wear and tear on your pitchers right now? And how difficult is that process right now for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going into this with a couple plans. We're going to let everybody throw today and then make a decision after that. But we definitely got, what we'd prefer to do. So we'll just see kind of where everybody's at today, I think is important. There's obviously we asked some guys to do a lot. So we'll check on everybody, and that'll kind of instruct us on what we're going to do.
Craig, last night after all the celebrations and everything, you were saying kind of there's no better atmosphere than Cubs Brewers, and this is the first meeting of those two teams in the playoffs. Just what's it mean to be a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think at least from my perspective, kind of being on both sides of it, I think the regular season matchups are awesome. It's a lot of fun, and it's really a lot of times it's kind of there's extra energy from fans, and there's fans from both teams in the building, and that's always made it a lot of fun. These are two cities that are close together, very close. Each city's residents have thoughts about each other's residents. Harmless, obviously. But yeah. And so the proximity of the cities makes it fun. No doubt about it. And the proximity makes rivalries too. And then teams being good makes rivalries.
Craig, having, knowing this team as well as you do and playing them as much as Cubs and Brewers play, is there anything that you maybe wouldn't know about them or that they wouldn't know about you at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I would tell you that we had our advanced meeting, coaching advanced meeting. It was shorter than the Padre meeting. And it's just there is a lot more knowledge. And most of it is because we play them more and we've played them more recently. We have Quentin Berry was on the coaching staff last year. I was obviously part of the organization and know a lot of the players. The managers know each other pretty well. So there is kind of less, and we're very aware of each other stylistically. No question about it.
Count, speaking of that familiarity, have you found in the games you've managed against Murph that you can better anticipate his moves than in games against other teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think baseball is less about like that than I see the Brewers play on how Murph would want a team to play, and that doesn't help us. Doesn't help you strategically. It's just you're building kind of teams and what's important to you, and that's good coaching. I mean, the things that are important to him come through in his team, and that's what I see the most. It doesn't help anticipate, first and thirds, or there's some small detail like that necessarily. There are a few things, but those are very, very small details. But stylistically, the team plays in a way that he wants them to play, and that's good coaching.
Just to follow up on that, how specifically have they taken on that personality in terms of how Murph would want them to play from what you've seen of the Brewers this year?
How specifically? I mean, it's they don't swing a lot. Like, their team doesn't swing a lot because he tells them not to swing. Good coaching.
I guess sticking with the familiar faces, Colin Ray, you had him over in Milwaukee. He's here in Chicago. Just what was it that you wanted him? What attracted you to having him on the team, and just what he's meant, the way that the pitching staff with injuries and whatnot this year, what he's meant to the club?
Yeah, Colin was exactly what we had hoped for, and probably more. In kind of when I talked to Colin in the offseason and try to just lay out, like, this is what's going to happen, and this is what we would like to happen. It's this faith that Colin had to have in us to know that he wasn't maybe in the top 5 starters to start the season, but was going to make a lot of starts. And I knew he was going to make a lot of starts, but you can't promise that at the beginning. And so for him to have faith to join us, I think was really important. And man, he's been the glue. He's been a lot of glue for us, really, is the best way to describe it. And he's glue in the clubhouse in terms of how he treats everybody around the building. His performances have been just that. And he's stepped up late in the season at some really important times. He's gotten seemingly stronger as the season has went on. So his contribution has been significant, and it was we made a good decision there, and I'm glad Colin agreed to join us.
The wild card compared to the DS, just I would imagine on the pitching front, that obviously changes things with the longer series, but I'm curious, pitching and maybe emotions, just everything else that goes into it, what you anticipate being different.
Looking at the first thing that I noticed looking ahead is just the off days. That we played 3 straight games, and almost, I don't want to say there's not time to put your head up, but that's what it feels like. And with this series, there's 3 off days in the series, and that's significantly different. And I think it's going to create a little bit of a different feel to the series. So that's number one. That's still look, 3 games and 5 games, man, in terms of like win 3 or win 2, that's not a big difference. And so it means, the gas pedal's down like immediately for everybody. I don't think that's going to change at all.
Hey, Craig, like earlier this season, a couple of us were talking to Yelich, and he suggested that maybe the Cubs had more pressure on them in a race with the Brewers because of the budget and the market and everything, but they won the division. Do you think that flips? And like, you've been a part of this as a player and a manager. Do players feel that kind of pressure, the outside expectations or even inside expectations now?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're past that right now. I mean, it's so like, it's gotten so small, man. It's just like, you do your job, you got 1 game, and it's everything to win it. And if you don't, you walk away really disappointed. You're going to have another game, but that's where your focus is down to, is like very small moments. And it's tomorrow at 1:00. That's it. The outside, there's no outside noise right now. It's tomorrow at 1:00. So I don't even like, that's like a foreign language you're speaking right there to me right now. Like tomorrow at 1:00. That's it.
Go to Jesse on the right side aisle.
Craig, how's Cade Horton doing, and would he be available for the next round, you think? Or
Yeah, I mean, Cade will not be active this series. He feels good, but we're not doing anything that we're encouraging healing right now. So we're not doing anything that would cause pain. We haven't pushed him to a place that we would test that. I think, as we get into later this week, we're gonna have to decide if it's time to do that. And that decision has not been made yet.
Craig, how counsel tough are your players right now? And by that, I mean, you've made a point that playing every day and embracing that is a big part of what you expect from your team. How have they embraced that, and how do you think that's helped their play?
Well, I mean, I think they've done it all year. I think it's funny how quickly like 3 games like pushes the young player questions. They're gone, right? I mean, you're not a young player if you survive that anymore, right? But I think, and that just tells you that you're already prepared for it when you enter it, no matter if you've done it or not. And that's the goal. That's what you try to do. You try to prepare your players for the situations they're going to be in, for the bad stuff, mostly for the bad stuff that's ahead of them, to warn them and to take care of them. But they were ready for it, and they're going to be ready for this. And this is going to be a brand new thing and a brand new environment, and just a little bit different. Obviously, we had 3 home games, so first experience on the road for some of these guys. So, but they're ready for it. I mean, they proved it, and that part of it is, not a question for me.
So that's Craig Counsell in his presser earlier this afternoon over at American Family Field, as we get ready to hit a break as we sit inside the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. David Appleton hit us up on the talk and text line. Fazies for breakfast, Lindy's for dinner. I'm only angry because now I'm hungry. Give me the working class hero, everything, and get the alfalfa sprouts out of there. That just feels
Too
like
healthy.
it's too healthy.
Yeah.
Too healthy. Throw some extra mayo
That is
on
a
it
signature
instead.
of theirs, isn't it?
What's that?
The alfalfa sprout.
It's part of the
Lindy's experience.
There you go. Except no, I don't want to know. I don't.
Not a part of Don's Lindy's experience.
Thank you very much. But give me the working class hero.
Fazies is closed.
I know. That's just so sad. Love
They had
Fazies.
the best. I mean, just a fantastic bakery.
Yeah. There wasn't much about Fazies, especially for
Yeah.
breakfast to
yeah.
argue over. Poor Dan's like, I went to Madison. I don't know what you're talking about. And he
If you
could
know,
chime
you
in.
know.
No, I know,
If you know,
but
you know.
I
There
want to
you
get
go.
a hero now. You guys are talking about this.
Yeah.
Go to Parthenons and do that.
There you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
All right, let's get to a break on the other side. Let's hear from Matt Arnold and Mark Antanasio as they also spoke today at American Family Field. We'll get to them next. Don and Dan sitting in for Drew and KB along with Hunter Baumgard. We're back in a bit.
When I met you in the summer, to my heartbeat sound.
Now, here's traffic from Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Call the Tri-City Total Traffic Tip Line at 414-944-5111.
JM eastbound on 94 between the Zoo Interchange and 35th. Westbound delays from 27 to Mitchell Boulevard. 894 southbound tightens up at Oklahoma, continuing down to the Hale. I'm Kevin Henry. That's your latest total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Major League Baseball.
MLB's postseason is heating up.
How good was that?
October hits different. Watch baseball at its finest. Postseason 2025. Major League Baseball. Trademarks used with permission.
Follow us on Instagram at 97.3 The Game.
It's the best place to keep up with Milwaukee sports.
Pre-game and post-game videos and plenty of other stuff. Follow us now, 97.3 The Game on Instagram.
Hello, smart and good-looking listeners. Chef Adam Pavlak here, friend of the Drew and KB Show. I would like to invite you to join me and some culinary friends for the 7th annual Milwaukee Chef Collaboration Dinner. The event, which will be held Sunday, November 9th at Elder and Rhyme on Mayfair Road in Wauwatosa, is like a culinary all-star game. 13 of the top chefs in the Milwaukee area will join forces for an 11-course dinner that will feature beverage pairings from Tripper Duval of the Lost Whale and music from Joe Ray. Proceeds from the event will benefit my charity, of course, Cooking for Kids, along with Hunger Task Force, Girls on the Run of Southeastern Wisconsin, the Alzheimer's Association, Running Rebels, and other local charities. For information and to purchase tickets, visit cookingforkidswi.org. That's cookingforkidswi.org.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-346-2476. 800-346-2476. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-346-2476.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
KB here with the secret to losing up to a pound of fat a day. It's called Milwaukee Weight Loss. No drugs, no injections, no prepackaged meals. It changed my life. It will change yours too.
Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-433-4008 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For award-winning injury lawyers, when you're injured, you call Nicolay Law. Get the beer, get the win.
Make 97.3 The Game your #1 preset on our free iHeartRadio app. Powered by Gruber Law.
One call, that's all.
Injured?
Remember, one call, that's all.
Milwaukee's best bet is VSiN, the sports betting network. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest every night at 6 on Fox Sports 920.
Too afraid to ask. Welcome back in, Drew and KB on a Friday afternoon. They got the day off. Don and Dan sitting in along with Hunter Baumgart. Don't forget, Brewer baseball kicks off wrong sport. Wrong.
They drop the puck. You want to use that one?
They drop the puck. They kick it off. First pitch happens tomorrow. You can watch the game at Lefts. The Brewers begin the NLDS on Saturday. Woo. Lefts will have the giant screen for the patio to watch all of the Crew's postseason action. Also great specials during every Brewer game, including $3 Miller Lights, 30 for $30 wings. Hello, I'm down right there. That 30 for $30. Yes, please. Spin the home run wheel, play the game day grid, pull tab pool, and prize giveaways throughout the game. If you're not going to AmFam, watch the crew at Lefts. Let's go to AmFam, however, as Matt Arnold and Mark Antanasio talked this afternoon, and it sounded like this.
For Matt, I was just wondering, what did y'all see in Quinn Priester early in the season that made y'all think he'd be a fit in this rotation? How have y'all been able to kind of unlock that in him?
Yeah, he's certainly a talented player. Had identified him years ago, frankly, through the draft process. I mean, he was a high pedigree draft pick. I'd followed him for years. Obviously, when guys come up to the big leagues, especially as pitchers, they don't always have success immediately, but we thought there were some really good ingredients there. And so, again, teaming up with our guys, we felt like, especially in the moment at that time, we were obviously very thin with pitching. Felt like he was somebody that was in AAA for the Red Sox, and we thought could help us. So, again, huge credit to Quinn for what he's been able to become, and a credit to our staff for tapping into him. He's done a great job.
Mark, I'm wondering if you could tell us your thoughts when the Cubs got the final out yesterday and this matchup materialized. Interesting on many different levels. And I'm wondering,
I should have anticipated that question.
I'm wondering what, if you have anything to say to Brewers fans who may have some offers on their tickets that are pretty lucrative. Do you want to put out, is the club going to put out any message to try to keep this a home field advantage?
So if we'll just take the questions in order. I actually was watching the game with Bud Selig yesterday, last several innings, and you have a mixed emotion, right? Because we're so used to hoping that the Cubs don't win, obviously, and likewise, I'm sure they feel that way about us. Yet, this is a great matchup for our fans, and for all the fans of baseball. These playoffs in the National League, you have the 4 teams with the most wins in it. That's special. And here you have 2 teams who know each other really well. And it should be great baseball. And, we look forward to the challenge and the opportunity, and I'm sure they do too. Look, you have an expectancy, and you also have anxiety because, and on both sides. That should make a very good series. Our fans have been terrific supporters for the second question of the team all season. I think we were 11th or 12th in attendance. By the way, on viewership, I think we were second. We had one more win than the Phillies, and they had a slightly higher media point than we did. We had the second most watched team in baseball this year behind the Phillies. And so we expect our fans will bring the energy they always do, and be very supportive. And Cubs fans want to come see their team. I'm sure they'll figure out how to do that. And I'm sure our fans will figure out how to go to Wrigley Field.
Mark, I was actually going to ask you about attendance and TV ratings. I had talked to Rick yesterday. Just, again, we hear all about the market size in Milwaukee. You guys finished 12th in total, 12th in average attendance with this market, and ratings are up. Just from a business standpoint, the consistent success on the field and off the field, just how proud are you of both of those things?
Well, extremely proud of, it's a total team and community effort, organization effort and team to get that type of attendance. When I was looking at, it's hard to believe 21 seasons ago, purchasing the team, I looked at the tradition of baseball in Milwaukee, actually even predating the Braves to the American Association team. And so this community has always loved baseball. So it doesn't surprise me that when you have a good product on the field that they'll support to a very high level. And, we've had a three-peat here. I think Pat Riley, who I've now had a pleasure of getting to know a little bit, has the trademark on that. So, and more important, I think we've had 5 division titles since 2018. And that, model of consistency, I think Matt and his whole baseball ops staff and Murph and the coaching staff, and of course the players, they all get the credit for that.
Matt, when did you have an indication with this team that it had a special quality to it and just was able to win a division and get in the playoffs and maybe make something special happen?
Yeah, good question. I don't know if there was like a specific date. I think back to where we were in New York and where we weren't at the moment. And we were going through a lot of things with injuries and obviously the torpedo bats that week. And we came home and we weren't great there either. Pretty dark spot at the moment. But I'll tell you what, I didn't feel doubt from the group. I think that was the thing that got us through that. And that, again, that's a credit to the people in that room that compete every single day. And I really felt like we had a really special group early on when we were able to weather that early part of the season and for us to come out the other side of that and then start really clicking kind of in the second half, along the way. There are certainly some special moments along the way that were great. But it really has been a strong group really since we left Arizona. And so, again, credit to that group and to Murph and all the coaches as well.
There was William Contreras wrote a piece in I think they call it the Players Tribune.
Yeah.
And he credited, I've got my Spanish right, Unidad. That clubhouse is as unified as any clubhouse we've had. 2008 was similar. Very unified clubhouse. And I think that has a lot to do with the results you see.
At the trade deadline, fans were clamoring for a blockbuster deal. There wasn't one. You went and did your best Gene Hackman and said, my team is on the floor. You got Danny Jansen, but you pretty much stood pat, and now you come into the playoffs with the best record in baseball. Do you feel personally vindicated that you had a sense that this was the team that could play in October and you weren't going to make any major moves?
Yeah, look, I think every move is sort of in isolation to some degree, but it's about the whole unit, honestly. And I think certainly we were tapped into all the different opportunities that were out there. And we felt like we had the right people in the mix, and I think sometimes when you want to subtract a piece or add a piece, that can change the dynamic in the clubhouse, certainly. And that was a big factor for us. And so a lot of it had to do with who we had at the moment. And the other part is kind of what you're giving up for the future. And I think that's been a big part of this is continue to support the pipeline that we have currently, which we are very excited about, but that's not why we're here today. We're here today because of the group in that room. And really that was just a vote of confidence for the guys in that room, because again, they've done just an incredible job to get us to this point.
Matt, you mentioned special moments throughout the year. What are some of those special moments that you're going to look back on?
Man, I mean, there's some huge comebacks. I mean, Mark, we could spend a long time talking about them, honestly, and not all of them are on the field, honestly. I think about, the day we celebrated Bob Uecker, to be honest, was a special day for all of us. I want to continue celebrating his life as long as I'm here. He meant a lot to a lot of people. And so I feel like that was certainly a highlight for me to see Judy and obviously all the history of the team and the Brewers and what Mark has been able to build here. And that family type of culture. I mean, that's what I think makes this place really special, and days like that certainly resonate for me.
One of the things I think is interesting, and who knows, right, when things flip, but Jackson Churio made a great catch in center field and we started winning. I think it was against the Twins. We started winning after that. And it's interesting if that was, the inflection point, that it was a defensive play. Matt and his group have really focused on run prevention and defense. And I think that's, one of the many reasons we're here is defense, right?
Yeah.
For Mark, the fans have made their opinions on Craig pretty clear the last couple of years. I'm sure we'll hear it this weekend. And I'm sure you knew this question was coming for you as well at some point. But when he first announced that he was going to the Cubs, you had some pretty clear statements on how you felt at the time. I'm just curious. I don't think we've asked since. If you still feel burned a little bit by Craig going to the rivals.
I don't think I said I felt burned. I think I said that, look, we lost the manager that still has the most wins in our history and may forever. He did an unbelievable job here for 9 seasons. I talked about losing the community, and I think this community is really special in so many ways. And, so I think that was more the comment than, everybody has to do what they have to do for themselves and their family.
Mark, anybody want?
So there are a number of storylines going into tomorrow, and I get to the point right now, I can't wait. Oh. It's been a hot minute, I think, that I've been this excited for game 1 of a playoff series. Yeah. Especially with the Cubs rolling in, Dad. I mean, let's go. I'm like, let's go now. Tonight?
I have no idea how I'm going to sleep tonight.
Hunter is like Christmas Eve right
It
now.
is.
Yeah,
It
I'm
really
telling you.
is. I'm going to be.
This is good. Oh, I can't wait.
This is we've waited years for this.
Yeah, you're right.
That we've seen this team kind of come close to this level of success.
Mhm.
We've seen them get to deep into the playoffs, but we've never seen it the way we've anticipated it could end up. This is special.
It absolutely is. And these press conferences that we've been going through
Yeah, it
here
gets
this
ya.
afternoon, it just adds fuel to the fire,
It
which is a
does.
wonderful
Whetting
thing.
the
All right,
appetite.
let's take our final break as we sit inside the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge. When we come back, we'll put stuff in a red Solo cup as we exit stage left. It's the Drew and KB show. Don and Dan filling in along with Hunter Baumgard. We're back after this.
Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never went nowhere. Now, your chance to win $1,000.
Give it to me.
Just enter this nationwide keyword on our website, deposit. That's deposit. Enter it right now. Right now. 973thegame.com.
KB here. Who doesn't love pizza? I mean, I do. I like to visit my favorite pizza places, but sometimes my craving hits and I don't have time to go out and eat. So I go to my freezer, pull out a Pep's Draft House pizza, because Pep's Draft House pizza isn't one of those just toss a pizza in the oven pizzas. It's made right here in Wisconsin with tons of toppings and real Wisconsin cheese. No one is crushing one of these. Don't believe me? Try one today and make your house a Draft House with Pep's Pizza.
You're not just tired, you're drained. Dragging yourself out of bed, powering through work with caffeine, skipping workouts, zoning out at home. That 6 to 10 o'clock evening window, it used to be your time. Now you're barely holding on. Lower energy, poor sleep, no drive. If that sounds like you, it might be low testosterone, and you're not alone. It's Drew Olson from 97 Through the Game, and I was in that exact spot with less gas in the tank. I got tested at Game Day Men's Health, and it changed everything. I've been amazed at the level of service I've received at Game Day and how quick the treatments are. It's part of my routine now. You can make it part of yours. They are looking to help you at Game Day Men's Health. It's fast, it's simple, and it's built for guys on the go. Like no waiting rooms, no awkward questions, just a free T-level test and real solutions that work. You've got a life to live. Don't waste it on the couch. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com and book your free testosterone test today. Game Day Men's Health. Get into one of the 5 area locations, get results, and get back in the game.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns. It's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down at our new clinic in Hudson. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Hudson. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
KB, Iron Jock is going back to the basics.
Basics? I'm intrigued. What's in it?
It's a base layer setup. One tee, your choice, long or short sleeve, plus a pair of boxers and performance crew socks, all designed for active guys who want to stay comfortable and stink-free. The perfect base.
I'm all about a perfect base.
The base layer bundle is fantastic for outdoor yard work, hiking to see the fall colors, or just general laziness and watching sports from your couch all weekend. And for our smart, good-looking hunters, talk about an advantage of not having your smell tip off your target. They'll never smell you coming.
So what are we looking at?
Short sleeve bundles $45, long sleeves $50. That's about $15 or $16 per item for quality and performance that lasts. And Iron Jock guarantees it for the lifetime of the gear or your money back.
Lifetime guarantee? Now that's a commitment. More than I can save for my golf swing.
No code necessary, and shipping is free.
It's an Iron Jock flash sale now through Sunday.
Go to ironjoc.com. That's ironjoc.com.
Through Sunday, October 5th.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Rob Parker. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Major League Baseball.
The Brewers will face the division rival Cubs in the NL Division Series. The best-of-5 set begins tomorrow at American Family Field. Buck star Giannis Antetokounmpo will join the team in Miami ahead of its preseason game with the Heat on Monday. He is getting over COVID. And the NCAA basketball tournaments are reportedly close to expanding to 76 teams as early as 2027 with 12 play-in games. I'm Frank Garrity.
MLB's postseason is heating up.
How good was that?
October hits different. Watch baseball at its finest. Postseason 2025. Major League Baseball. Trademarks used with permission.
Welcome back in. Drew and KB on a Friday. Don and Dan filling in with Hunter Baumgart as we sit inside the Central Standard Distillery Timeout Sports Lounge as we have distributed the Red Solo Cups. And now it's time to figure out what we're taking home for the weekend. Professor, I start with you. What are you taking home this weekend?
2 words, gentlemen. 2 very wonderful words. Play ball. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Play ball now. It's time.
It is. You're right. It is time. And it just.
We've talked about it enough, right?
Right.
Play.
You know,
Yeah.
And again, I'll just say it's so nice to be able to watch baseball be extended in this city for as many years as we've had the ups and downs and everything in between. To see winning baseball consistently in the city of Milwaukee is wonderful. Hunter, what are you taking home, my friend?
Yeah, that is exactly it. This team has not won a playoff series since 2018. Tomorrow's the first step to that. By winning game 1, you have a big advantage. The Brewers get it at home because of what they earned with the special season they've had. That's, you can make it, 1,000 times more special by going on a run here in October.
Yeah.
And that starts tomorrow. And again, we'll have the best Brewers coverage here. Tim Allen will be on after the game with Pipe Bomb. I'll be at the ballpark. I'll be at Wrigley Field this coming week. We will have pregame show on Monday at 6:00. No pregame show tomorrow due to Badgers coverage. We'll also have Badgers pregame, Badgers in Michigan, 7 a.m. pregame for that on 97.3 The Game in Milwaukee and the iHeartRadio app, 11 a.m. kickoff. And then immediately after that is when the postgame show for Brewers Cubs will happen, and Tim Allen will be on the air. And that is a must listen, just period, but an extra must listen because it's Brewers and Cubs in the playoffs. And I don't know how Tim's going to react to that. So I cannot wait for that.
I cannot wait for that either.
Yes. So it's going to be a fantastic weekend.
I'll tell you once again, the way I kicked this thing off today is I'm taking home the fact that I will never look at the Red Sox the same again after what they did to me yesterday and taking away my ability to watch top 10 matchup in Division III football between Wisconsin, Whitewater, and La Crosse, and then to have the ability to go to American Family Field and watch baseball and have Matt LePay on the earpiece listening to the Wisconsin game. Just the Red Sox.
You know what fixes that?
What's that?
A Brewer win.
Okay.
Right.
All right. There we go.
There
A
you go.
Brewer win, and then these guys on the postgame show
absolutely.
is all the medicine that I need. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in and listening to us. Our thanks to Matt Miller for joining us, as well as Jeff Ligney earlier on, the commissioner of the NACC. We hope you have a fantastic weekend, a safe weekend. Let's go, Brewers. Let's get the win. Let's get this thing going. Have a good weekend, everybody.